as we start the ban phase, we'll see who gets banned, whether or not we're going to see some of the usual suspects or some more creative bans coming out here. And that is Maverick going off first. That should be interesting, especially if somehow we end up with some other bans that might involve hatch play, for example.
Maverick, pretty common operative to be used on Oregon, and there goes the Glaz. Interesting that a Ying ban does not come out, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a pretty common ban for this map, but honestly, if you feel like you have a Jaeger that can really deal with it, or you can stop them from burning your ADSs, or even just stay in positions where those Candelas don't really affect you too much. I mean, also, you could be a situation where you don't expect them to play it a lot, and you might not really struggle with it too much, but I think most teams in general do not care to play against those Candelas if they think that's going to be a problem for them.
Well, I just bring that up because in the first game, the initial game between these two teams on Border, which is a map that will be played as the decider should we go 3.
Yeah.
That was where NORA-RENGO received the biggest welcoming of all time, which was the 6-second ace on Ying by Hungary.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, there's always the, don't sleep on Ying Hungary. I mean, you want to ban it because it was banned consistently for a long time against him. Teams kind of started dropping off doing that. But definitely, yeah, was the thing. But Ravon going to be the one to actually play it. Interesting. Well, if that's what you want to do, he's going to 6-pick off of it, though. I got to imagine they were teasing that Hungary was playing it because you do not see the actual players that are playing the operators, so you're going to assume that was Hungary doing that. And really, that might mess with your ability to kind of predict a 6 doing that. Not, I guess, a huge surprise in that sense of trying to tease that out, but I can imagine we might see Hungary pull out that Ying later. In this case, though, just going to be the Capitao for him this round.
Interesting that Mario is fulfilling the mantle of Valkyrie right now, considering Waka's incredible display of accuracy on Border against this team 2 days ago with Valkyrie. But
again,
got some freedom.
It's the change-up, right? They're trying to keep things a bit more mixed up. And I got to imagine that some of that's due to some of the VOD review they did, some of the thinking about the strats, and they went on to change that up. But who knows? Maybe it doesn't work. We end up with Waka on Valkyrie next round.
New feed activated.
We are at least going to get some idea where the cameras are going to be set up, though. That's going to help cover the west side so you don't have to hang out over there because, well, you're likely to lose it at some point. You definitely don't want to be face-checking those bullets as the attackers come in. You'd rather see those drones coming in via the cameras and have some idea if they care about taking it, which doesn't look like the water outside yet. Could actually see the jump outs from Mario instead.
Well, when Waka was playing this Oregon matchup the first time, it was him setting up a Valkyrie camera display on the windmill inside. Hungary will actually start things off way down in the basement, question mark?
That's a really good initial kill. I mean, taking
sight. That's the objective.
All right, well, hello. Welcome to Laundry.
Claws picking up Apilia and rushing straight through the closet. There goes the Evil Eye. Waka is still upstairs. Not a set up topside led me to believe it was a Dorm's defense, but negative. Waka will be shredded by the M762. All of a sudden, it's an all-out rush from Penta. Last man alive is Race, who will claim the life of Blaz before immediately being traded out by Ravon. Wow. I had no idea that the site was even downstairs. The amount of setup upstairs.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was a Dorm's defense off rip, but no, Penta in the site in 30 seconds.
I mean, they read into the fact that they were setting up so much upstairs, but it is funny to see that in a round where they don't bring Ying, a play like that. That is such a hungry Ying attack right there, and just, nope, capitalizing completely on the weaknesses they spotted. And that is where an IGL really shines in terms of making that call, saying, guys, they're not defending site very well. Let's just go in and take it.
Well, it works out for Penta, and this is completely in stark contrast to what we witnessed, at least in the beginning, against Lestream yesterday from Penta, which was, they were very, very slow against Lestream. Actually, glacial in the movements and the pushes across the map and trying to take any engagement.
If you're going to go for a rush, the first round, it's the time to do it. Let's be honest. That's when you can get away with it the most, when they're least expecting, when they haven't really felt you out yet. But in terms of feeling each other out, they have played each other already in this tournament, so that shouldn't be too foreign to each other. But again, just great capitalization on what they saw during the drone phase. Probably will not see that again, at least not this round.
No, I'd highly doubt we see a replay of that.
If they do, that is ballsy.
Worked out pretty well. They, like I said, the amount of top 3-floor setup. You had a Jaeger, a smoke upstairs inside the kids' dorms in Master Hallway. You had a Valkyrie over by bathroom and showers on the main floor, and by dining with a kitchen reinforcement setup. You don't really have a lot left on the objective to hold it. Oregon, your rotation options are quite limited.
And that's the thing, is you can really capitalize on that because, like you said, with the rotation options being limited, they're also constrained. You can cut people off, take advantage of that, and that's exactly what they did there, knowing how they would rotate back to site. But it was also the fact that they did it quickly means they might have still been mid-setup. A lot of teams take a while to get their setup done. Obviously, that was the case there for NORA-RENGO, and they paid the price for it. I got to imagine they set up a bit faster
located by attackers
to make sure they didn't fall prey to that. Maryu this time playing a bit more in the center of the map, make sure he can counter any kind of a lobby push, which of course PENTA are not going to go with any kind of heavy rush this time. But at the same time, they are looking to see if they can get any kind of push here from the tower side, as Blaz already pretty close to inside here, opening up the walls while watching an angle, and they have top floor control of tower as well from Hungry.
Papilia in a Cold War contestation against Blaz. Blaz will turn the corner. Oh, what a shot with the shotgun from Papilia through the wall will down him off. Blaz down, but not out just yet. Papilia has not ran into Blue to try and secure the kill, and it looks like Hungry is coming in support down the construction tunnel trying to protect his fallen comrade.
Now, of course, for anyone who's new to this and just watching because the Invitational is a bigger event, you do not have the feed to know you injured someone, so he did not know he could have finished that kill there.
Drones will come out to reassess the situation as Papilia was playing quite aggressive towards box and underneath the box hatch, which PENTA had meeting control. They start off with a tower take, completely contrary to their initial take, which was down the main stairs incredibly fast. And Nitrocell being prepped by Papilia, now playing where a back mirror would be if it wasn't banned out. Blaz angling in, just sees the backside, and Papilia will duck away to safety in mere moments. Still holding his angle, and now Blaz unaware that his pixel actually doesn't reveal any information beyond the brick wall.
No, he didn't know he moved off. So that is, you saw the ping, he's like, oh, he's right there. Now that is false information he's giving his team.
Again, prepping the Nitrocell, but not ripping it out just yet. Enemy will find the first victim with only 40 seconds remaining. That's Maryu, who is still upstairs on his roaming Valkyrie work dispatched up. There goes one of your Nitrocells for plant delay and denial outright taken away. And there goes another one. Both Nitrocells dispatched up as Blaz finally wins that engagement after being down by Papilia earlier. He will get his revenge. Two stacked inside a box. A third one now is Servas to take down Ramu. Waka try to fight back, but he'll only get one in vain. Raysil will clean up one on the main stairs with the shotgun, but runs straight to his demise as Blaz will clean things up. A 3K on the round, and you can see PENTA feeling themselves right now with dance moves.
PENTA feels like a bulldozer so far in these rounds. Whenever they're able to get any kind of edge, yeah, sure, they did get downed a little bit at the beginning when the Ash got shot down by the shotgun, but got picked back up. Both of them left at 50% health, but once they got in and got that beachhead, it was just established. Everyone coming in at that point was pretty much just walking into the tracers of their own demise. It was, I mean, what do you do against that? You need to flank that. They need to be coming from the tower side from behind because they had tower side control completely. That's what you need to do with that, is just not expose your backside. And again, work like that bulldozer. Yes, there was a couple of kills. It wasn't a flawless round, but it nearly was. Those 2 kills were towards the very end. And unfortunately for NORA-RENGO, very impactless at that point. Plant was going down. They just had full control. You saw the diffusers even drop needlessly to the ground as people failed. And smartly so, NORA-RENGO deciding the laundry, not such a great idea. Gonna go up the dorms. Somewhat of a pattern we've seen in some matches. We saw it previously in the Liquid match as well, where laundry just was not working out in the current meta for these teams.
Well, I also find it very interesting that NORA-RENGO seem quite timid right now, quite reserved.
Yeah.
In their first matchup against PENTA, they took a lot of shots, they took a lot of aggressive plays. They went for Hail Marys and home runs every other minute. Waka Cornfornuts hitting insane shots all the time on Border and on Oregon, and yet It's just not coming out right now for NORA-RENGO. Content really to try and sit back and wait for it, and it's a complete different look for Penta compared to the beginning of yesterday, and even in their game against NORA on Monday night, where Penta seemed to be bringing all the aggression and they have the initiative behind them. They're pushing with a direction, a directive, and some focus, and it's completely alternative to what we've seen from Penta.
Well, I can tell you what it is. This was Penta's map pick. So what they did is they looked for the weaknesses in NORA-RENGO, and they built the strats around them. They built those to attack those on this map in particular, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're going straight for those weaknesses they saw, and now it's on NORA-RENGO to try and change the tempo. So Waka being on dock, for example, he needs to be doing some peeks. He needs to be playing up that mechanical skill you were talking about to get some early picks. That would slow down this bulldozer. But the early picks are not coming out at all from NORA-RENGO. You mentioned them being timid. That's costing them these rounds.
Waka's still stationed inside of showers and walkers as the Valkyrie camera placed on that windmill has returned from Mario. But now Repel's coming out from Penta on the kids' windows, and the one person who could be a thorn in the side of this plan is Ramu on the pulse, constantly on the cardiac sensor, playing Harry Potter, and witnessing someone droning on the T2 stairs.
I mean, I like the idea of this here. If he doesn't get caught, and we see him try and run right past him, Ramu could get an impactful kill, rotate around, and just really, like you said, be a thorn in their side. However, if he gets killed here, that's C4 off the board. That's a lot of intel off the board.
Look, it's enemy, and he's on his own drone. He's just sitting there baiting it out the whole time. Now Mario will come in for support from the stage door, but he won't connect with the bullets either. A flashbang will ring out, and full blind. Ramos will have to back downstairs.
Waka managed to get that kill, and he's a doc, so he can heal himself right back up, which he's already done. Papilia being a little more aggressive now. This is the time to capitalize on that and be that reverse bulldozer. Ramu was playing a bit timid and had Mario backing him up, but again, they didn't capitalize on that time. He was on his drone because they're still playing a little too timid. Now that they've got man advantage, they just got to carefully play. If they lose one or two players, then pull it back. But 47 seconds left here with a 3v5. This is definitely looking good here, especially with that kill.
Here's Waka taking down Hungry, and Serbas is just straight up vaulted into the main window. Papilia with a team kill onto Race Hill, but it won't matter at the end of the day, and Waka will end things with the MP5 onto Serbas, and NORA-RENGO giving us another showing of the famous NORA-RENGO dance.
I love these guys. It's just their happy-go-lucky attitude. I mean, I hate to sound biased, but I would love to see these guys win just for their positive attitude to take that to the main stage for the big audience. But either way, at least you get to see that here on your screen on the streams. Either way, hope to see that from Penta if they win, you know, take some of that positive attitude forward. But either way, looks like we saw a little bit of the bleeding stop without needing a timeout. They changed the bomb site. They changed the way they were playing. You see Ramo here also picking the Vigil. That tells me they might play a little more flexible, a little less timid. I mean, to be fair though, they were, I think, looking at that first round to be playing a little more flexible in that roam with that top floor setup. But because it was read into by Penta, because they capitalized on the weakness, of course it was dismantled. I expect things to slow down a bit here for Penta now, because we saw that come back around from NORA-RENGO. Penta's gonna have to calm down a little bit, drone a little bit more carefully, not give away any free kills, but we still could say players like Wasp, who's there with 4 kills, going a little aggressively. You know, just try and be that spearhead. That is typical of an Ashe entry main. See if it can get some work done. If not, then the rest of the team is just gonna have to drone carefully and back it up.
Well, in the game yesterday against the stream, it was Penta taking simple liberties, honestly, skipping over some very crucial drone steps and clearing the map, and that was part of what was contributing to their slow start and their slow maneuvering of the map yesterday against the stream to begin with, and it seems like those bad habits have been put by the wayside for the time being for Penta. I really like that baiting play from enemy inside of tower. It didn't work out for him. The execution wasn't quite there, but the planning was there. You can see Penta really, the stark difference between Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for Penta, it's 3 different teams, honestly. I was talking about 2 different rosters in prep. It's 3 different teams all playing.
It's like an advent calendar of strats.
It's remarkable to see Penta and their evolution and their response to their failures, honestly.
Yeah.
Their first game against NORA-RENGO was not great. Their first start against the stream was not great. Now they've come back, and granted, it's only 3 rounds, and they've even lost 1. However, they do look much stronger and they look much more poised. They look like they are not letting things get to them that they used to allow get to them earlier on in this week.
They're also varying things up. They went for more of a west side take this time, took control of that. Sir Boss taking out Papilia. That's going to be a C4 off the board. Now you see Bloss as well, still going for a tower side take, just a late one, but he didn't drone in here properly, and he's going to get caught for it. But Ramu's the one to pay the price. You see Hungry's drone there, did spot it. Good timing, there was another player in here, but he's smartly backed off. Now, it looks like he might be rotating around for the shots. Blaz has got to be careful here, but what a great start. 2 kills already for Penta. Looks like that aggression coming right back.
Pretty significant whiff there from Ramu. You can hear the rappels coming in. There were shotgun shells ringing out to the floorboards on T3 underneath the window as well, and Ramu just cannot connect the shots. Enemy will also tack on, taking down Raysil. So suddenly a 5v5 turns into a 5v2, and you've still got Waka holding the bottom of the T2 stairs, and Law's unaware will walk right into it. But you still have a 2-man doubled up advantage, pushing down the main stairs, trying to initiate a plant exit. Waka, though, busting out of meeting split, will take down Hungry and drop the diffuser at the top of the stairs in the midst of sandbags, but lit to 5 HP. He'll have to retreat to the ladder stall inside of meeting and continue to hold his ground as he waits for Mario to cycle back and hold the main stairs. It looks like the progression has come out now from Penta as Ravon is initiating a plant attempt in behind the washing machine. The cover on hallway, immaculate from the stairs, will shut down Mario. It's a 5 HP Waka busting out of meeting will claim 1 life, 2 lives! Enemy and Sir Boss will fall! It's down to Ravon now in the depths of supply room, awaiting Waka's descent of the main stairs or the main lobby hatch to drop down and attempt a counter defuse. Claymore shot out and spotted immediately by Waka. Also spots the drone that was on the diffuser, so that's a lack of information for Ravon to have. Sticking directly in on a bait out, slowly creeping up the hallways, Ravon, but now Waka's going to turn the corner with authority and be shut down. Penta will win round number 4. Ravon in the 1v1 clutch. A wonderful attempt there from Waka, but a beautiful counteraction there from Penta, and to secure the round and give themselves the 2-round lead once again.
The damage Waka did with just 5 health left, though, absolutely on top of his game. Unfortunately for him, just the shots couldn't land in time. But the amount of pre-firing he was doing earlier, I'm honestly surprised he didn't come around that corner firing. But at the same time, I think he was trying to take advantage of being a 3-speed for a little bit of stealth on that approach. It was unfortunately read into, but either way, great attack. Shutting down Blaz definitely slowed things down there and gave that opportunity for Waka, because had he got flanked from the tower side, definitely would have been a big problem for him. But either way, a great attack again by Penta. Just laundry is not working out for NORA-RENGO, unfortunately winning dorms. This is a map where you pretty much got 2 good bomb sites. They kind of have to be trying this until they can go back to dorms again next round. This is really hurting the start from NORA-RENGO, not being able to defend laundry, and it's Penta taking it down every time a different way, but every single time with speed. It was only the dorm stake that was slow. This is down to just every single time. I gotta imagine it's good droning. They're identifying the positions of NORA-RENGO, despite there being a vigil. They're identifying the weaknesses, and they're taking it a different way. Next time, we saw last round, for example, they went instead for the west side take, and then the tower. Just changing it up each time. Also, Blaz, though, capitalizing on his 3-speed nature to get in, get some damage done early. So
attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
That is working out. Last again, going with the west side take here. He knows they're not going to be going back to dorms yet, so going to be planning on them being at laundry. The only thing they can do to really mix this up is go with a tower side defense, just to really throw Penta off at this point.
Blaz doing some immediate drone work as he walks in, and the ping's coming out in spades right now into dining. Hungry has pushed his way all the way into bathroom, and Mario is downed as the spray through the wall was enough to put Mario in a down but not outstate inside of the kitchen. He's holding out inside of the pantry closet, it seems. The mute jammer won't stretch far enough to stop the drones from coming in and establishing that Mario is down. Sir Boss will clean it from above through the pantry hatch, and it's another early great start for Penta as they, again, continue to push him with authority, and they refuse to be stopped right now. There is not much resistance coming out from NORA-RENGO.
Now this needs his flank from Ramu to work, but he has no opening there. He can't just creep through the attic. He's gonna have to drop down through meeting hall. Blaz is gonna be working his way over there as well. They might just get in a good pinch position at that time, but a C4 coming out from Papilia to take down Sir Boss will at least slow down and take utility off the board, as I gotta imagine those lifelines were gonna be important.
A lot of utility lost there on the side of Penta. It's a delayed trade. Honestly, if you're NORA-RENGO, you're feeling pretty good about that, considering the amount of utility that you removed from the side of the site execution for Penta. The only thing better than that probably would have been Hungry falling because of the smokes and asphyxiating bolts, but at least the soft destruction and the concussion mines will be gone for the rest of the round. EMP's coming out onto the left side of meeting wall, and oh my god, they have completely missed a man inside of showers. A flank immediately coming out from Waka, in behind 3 Penta attackers, all droning in short, and somehow Waka has not taken advantage of this and slaughtered them all. Slowly pushing his way, Waka pushing out of showers as the Jaeger waiting for Penta to feel comfortable in their site execute attempt. It'll be that cloak and dagger knife in the back.
We're just waiting for him to walk up right behind him.
Toxic Babe coming out of repel. It's an aggressive entry from Penta. It'll push Ravon back up the stairs slightly, but playing close range with a shotgun is great. So here comes Waka, 2 for him, 1 for Papilia, leaving Blaz alone. Inside a classroom now is Waka. Oh, what a shot from Blaz! And he'll be able to tag up Ramu as he retreats into the meeting and all the way through the kitchen. Rotate. Blaz waiting, try and isolate these 1v1s, and he knows he has one in a better position against Ramu, but time's ticking away. The pre-fire comes out, but Ramu will win it out. Just a missed drone on Waka inside of the showers. We get another hand dance from NORA-RENGO as they bounce back with 1 round remaining in the first half.
It is kind of funny that the player that they missed wasn't the Vigil, but that came down to them so focused on the mute jammers. You saw them focus on calling out for Thatcher to take out that mute jammer in meeting hall so they could get through and drone it properly. That was what was making them think, oh, maybe there's someone in meeting hall, completely neglecting showers despite the fact that they went for a west side take initially. And there's nowhere to go from showers. It's not like he magically appeared in showers from another part of the map. That entire west side is isolated. A west side take is supposed to do exactly that. You isolate off the west side so they don't have to watch behind them, which is exactly what they did, and it's just down. That's gotta be feel really bad for Penta to know. Failed droning cost you that entire round. Not to mention some good plays from Ramu as well. It wasn't just Waka, but either way, that is finally a laundry defense 1. Now they can go up the dorms with a bit more confidence that maybe they can end the side switch with a 3-3.
You gotta feel pretty good there if you're NORA-RENGO, able to pull a fast one over Penta, and now you're back within 1 round with a pretty good chance, considering the win rate upstairs on Oregon through this event, to draw even before heading into the second half, at which point you will then be on the attack and be able to set the pace and tone of each round as Penta have. But if you're Penta here, you think it's a simple mistake. Yes, it's on a big stage and probably the most important game in these players' careers and their lives. It's a simple mistake. It happens. Regroup, turn back, correct the mistake, and move on. I don't think they're going to hurt themselves too hard. No. Because I also don't think they even know how it happened. They'll go back and watch the VOD and really kick themselves.
Very true. They probably just assumed he snuck up behind them somehow.
Just laying in showers the whole time. 1 missed drone, 1 missed job by 1 person.
Missed drone. They did at least spot the pulse earlier. They saw him making his reinforced barricades. They got to imagine he's going to be playing around downstairs. It's similar to something I've seen Canadian do, for example, in the past when he's playing pulse, is make those reinforcements to make it a little bit easier to know if they're approaching from the grudge, if they're approaching to a school, helps him cover his flanks and isolate it down to either the meeting hall side, which you kind of know they're coming from there, or the lobby side, which Blaz is likely to be doing here, but he's going to make a lot of noise coming in. That's going to help him stay alive, but Hungry in the meantime, taking down the Waka early means also no chance for him to heal anyone else. That run out there, it's a nice idea with that ACOG, but you're much better off with an ACOG peeking out than jumping out. And Waka is going to learn that the hard way. So now, huge man advantage here. This could work out very well for Penta as they start to slowly sneak the drones unpunished by NORA-RENGO.
Some serious drywall work coming up!
Waka trying to return the favor, a little bit of aggression of his own, and he gets punished for it. Papilia not pulling off the gas pedal at all in response to Waka's death. You've also got Mario still in showers. NORA-RENGO just love the showers on Oregon.
Staying clean.
Papilia playing top white as he'll reserve himself from those peaks a little bit longer, as it was the demise of Waka that kind of set the tone here for Penta and Hungry. Red Waka left book. Another vault out here from Mario. Won't bring any prospects, won't provide any advantage, but it also won't be his demise either, as there's no one outside for Penta to punish him for this. Papilia will rotate down and swap positions with Mario, as he'll rotate up with that Nitro cell. Papilia wants to be the flank man. Blaz, though, will take down Ramu as they again begin to dismantle to tick apart this defense. Mario with one, Papillia with another, Mario and Racel. It's all coming apart at the seams for Penta. NORA-RENGO now in a 3v1 after being in a 3v5. All falling like dominoes where Penta Sports and Racel will end it with authority. NORA-RENGO bounce back from a 2-man deficit and level at 3 rounds apiece going into the half. And again, the dance moves getting more energetic with every 1 round.
Well, we know what the one weakness is for Penta on their attacks, the showers. It seems to bite them every time. In that case, it was Mario sneak around. I mean, those were some great shots, great reflexes, almost got a 3K out of it. But either way, he came from those showers again. They thought, oh, Waka jumped out. There's no way there would be another person in there. Waka was the one to hide in there last time. No, Mario was in there as well. Why are they not isolating the west side? That is a big part of a dorm's take. You don't just throw everyone to the other side, because again, the west side is the side you can isolate. If you then can do that and control the white stairs, you don't have scenarios like that. And then when you go to push master bedroom, you're pinching them all towards the middle, and you do not end up with someone just sprinting up the stairs on you. So either way, those side switch coming in here. Now it's time for NORA-RENGO to attack. So we'll see if they can find the same weaknesses Penta's launcher defense. I mean, I don't imagine we're going to see a rush attack, but either way, possible. We are going to see enemy trying to also play Vigil like Ramu was. We'll see if that's going to work out. Anyway, I'm curious to, also if Waka can play as aggressive as Blast has been playing on this, and I think if anyone can, it's going to be Waka.
Well, through the majority of this tournament, the basement on Oregon has been where good teams go to die.
5 seconds to insertion.
Probably does not have more than a 20% conversion ratio right now as far as defensive teams winning the objective. It's mostly been you cycle back and forth between your dorms win and then you fluster in the wind, basically, on all 3 other sites, whichever one you bring. We have seen 1 successful kitchen dining defense, actually 2, thanks to the Sexy Kid clutch today. Other than that, though, it's basically been you win your dorms and you struggle with the rest if you're on defense on Oregon. So starting things off will be Penta down there as well. That's Mario, taking a little bit of damage on the Sophia. You can see Waka, bit of frantic mode right now.
I like the free fires, though. You know what? Like, no taking chances. I'm not even going to drone ahead of myself. I'm just going to use my bullets to drone, you know what I mean? But Mario, in the meantime, actually, maybe going to need to use those drones a bit more, as he's already taken most of his life and damage. And the meat jammers, just like before, making life a problem. Ramu needs to get in there. Oh, wow. He jumps right on that jammer. He had to know there was going to be one there.
We were talking to Saronic out in the lobby while we were waiting for the Liquid Hockey game to wrap up, but we were talking about Waka specifically and how back in the day he used to be extremely frantic and extremely just frantic. I'll leave it there. But when he's in this mood where he's whipping around uncontrollably and pre-firing every single angle conceivable, is when you know the nerves are on for NORA-RENGO.
Stun grenade out.
Was saying when you see Waka playing much more stable, that's when you know the rest of the entire team is feeling much more stable. He's that equilibrium on the team. He's the guy who sets the tone. Waka being repelled for the 2nd time on his attempt at an entry towards the objective as he tried to go down main stairs and thought better of it, and now gone for a full rotation to red, ripped up on the wall, and it still hasn't provided much for him.
Ramu, though, is going to fall, and that's going to slow down his attack, but I got to imagine he already used the EMP too, and he was just going to be a vital flank watch that is no longer going to be in play, which means that's an opportunity for some of the other players on Penta to sneak around for those flanks, not stay isolated to this basement, but Waka playing in the tower side is isolating them there, so they're not able to escape, but the plant is coming down.
Racel almost able to complete this plant, and Papillia will shut down the flank from enemy. The plant is completed, so a 4v4 post plant. An attempted hallway push here from Penta is Plaz, who will be felled first in the chaos, all ensuing underneath the hallway hatch. Papillia, oh, what a flip from Papillia. Hungry, able to bring 1 back, but in a 1v3 on extremely low HP. Downs Waka through the wall and clean the kill in the process. Can immediately stick on the diffuser. It's a rent and drop situation. They both go flying in, dropping the hatch. Oh, what a bait out from Hungry. He gets 1. It's down to Mario, who's playing safe now in the bathroom hallway. Returning back to the diffuser will be Hungry. He has time for 1 more bait now, and he's not going to go for it. He's going to try and stick it, and Mario will conclude it from the hatch. NORA-RENGO once again on top.
That was a very tense play. Really well played by Hungry, though. And I think trying to stick it there was the right call, just in hoping the hesitation would be there. It wasn't, but you never know. That's a coin flip at that. And I mean, his play with a shotgun there, reading into the fact that someone would drop out of desperation, thinking they were going to get the shot at him, because of course they know where the diffuser's planted, they know where he's likely to be, but reading into that absolutely perfectly. Unfortunately for him, the rest of his team already dead and not able to support it, but what a great aggressive plant in the smokes from the Captau, and that means great plays from the Captau as well, because you have to smoke that correctly for you to be able to get that off. And a bit of a misplay by pushing into the hallway there when you kind of know they're going to be watching the hatch, specifically for anyone pushing the hallway. But I got to admit, it is a little hard to tell where you can spot it from when you're that, because the angle is not in your favor. But these players have played long enough to know better. So just a slight bit of misplay there from PENTA, ultimately costing them around. But as you said, Laundry is the death pit at the moment. And it surprises me that it always takes them 2 failures to realize they should go to dorms.
PENTA attempting to run it back and equalize once again into 4-4 scoreline. If not, it'll be NORA-RENGO taking the first real commanding lead for themselves. PENTA went up 2-0, then 3-1, and now it's 3 consecutive rounds for Nora as they continue to bounce back after that early, I guess, false start. That's kind of been a common theme for a lot of teams so far, is surrendering a significant early lead and having to claw your way out of a hole that otherwise wasn't really necessary had you started prepared and gone straight footing down to the ground against the gas pedal off rip.
Well, hopefully that evil eye from Blaz this time will be key in making sure if they go for another smoke plan attempt that it won't work. And it looks like they're going for a very heavy tower side take. There is someone trying to contain the bottom tower. Also, a little bit of sloppy flashbanging there, slowing the race down. They're going to have to be very careful on this push that they don't lose too many people taking the tower side. Otherwise, they're going to have to rotate around for a lobby take, maybe down some important utility in doing so.
Double stacking of drones, pushing into meeting, and oh my, thank you. Raysa will turn the drone the necessary degrees to realize that enemy is sitting directly in the corner of the stage door. Enemy now contesting anyone outside of front door against NORA-RENGO, and here comes Waka again with this ash charge from the red hallway wall. Pushes way into electrical box. The drone in tandem will follow in suit. Pushing directly up against the wall to see if anyone's playing close, as his teammate Papillia did with shotgun point blank range, but hallway hatch is being opened up. It's another initial tower take coming up from NORA-RENGO, and oh my, Revon, what a shot. It's threading the needle, finding the connection onto Waka, so that initial piercing armor of Waka will be dismantled, and NORA-RENGO back on their back foot once again, as he was kind of the catalyst in pushing all the way through last time for Nora.
Yeah, that really is going to slow them down now, because you see them rethinking their attack. Not only that, but PENTA now rotating around to face mostly around to that side, because they committed utility to the hatch, because they committed utility to opening that hard wall. They have to go for this push. They don't have enough to push from the lobby side. It's kind of all or nothing, and losing Waka not only going to slow that down, but also leave them a man down in this fight, having done no damage to NORA-RENGO. And Papillia, look at him already at basically 0, bleeding out there. They're going to have to pick him back up, because his utility is pretty much the only thing that might make this possible at this point. This is looking desperate. This might be PENTA actually taking Laundry on the second round, which would even things up nicely, but Smoke's coming out for the...
Razor tries to push through with Diffuser and gets repelled immediately by Wasp, the Alda. That's Diffuser lost in the hallway. Control of Mario up against the soft wall, only resulting in having to retreat to box. There's also a flank coming out up top, I believe, from an enemy, as he's made his way all the way into Classroom, and again, an attempted rush from Ramu will be shut down with authority, and Hungry with the SMG-11 on one right now, and his favorite role of smoke, and that's Mario twisting in the wind with nowhere to go. No options, no plan in sight, and that'll be PENTA up 5-3. Sorry, that's a 4-4. I am not good at counting.
Well, it's the fact that they actually won on the second round rather than waiting till they, went up to the dorm side. It's just nicely done by PENTA. Waka dying when it wasn't the middle of a push, when they weren't ready to push just yet, cost them everything, because at that point, that was like a signal flare to PENTA. Hey, everyone on PENTA, turn around. They're going to push from this side. They started opening reinforced hatches, reinforced walls, like I said, at that point, you're kind of all in. Waka needed to help just set that up, rotate around to the other side, maybe attack from the lobby, put some pressure on that side so he couldn't entirely focus over there.
Need to locate
Maybe
and
that one
defuse
worked,
bomb.
but he died prematurely thanks to Revans. Great play with that up. It's unfortunate, but that does cost them. And interestingly enough, rather than go to dorms for the secondary, you mentioned dining having some success.
Bomb located by attackers.
I mean,
if we're gonna have a second helping.
some success is kind of generous. I believe it's
certainly is.
2 for 2. It's the only 2 times it's been played.
Yeah.
Possibly been played and lost once. I haven't caught every minute of every game this week, as I imagine a lot of us out there have.
10 seconds remaining.
Considering how many games have been going, and especially the length at which they are.
5 seconds.
But yeah, this is a very, very curious decision for Penta Sports.
Attackers
As
recovered the diffuser. Attackers are
you
heading
have
out to
dorms
the
available, which is your best conversion site for defenders.
It's an interesting slowdown strategy. You've got all the castle barricades combined with the flash. They're just trying to stall it out as much as possible.
I dare you to come
burn
closer.
time, but it's
I dare
this
you.
defense works so much better with Echo when you can hit them where it hurts when you need to. But the fact that he can put pressure on with the clash potentially over near the plant spot, maybe he's hoping that will be enough. But you expose yourself to the doorway in doing so. So I don't know, like you said, I question this. But hey, we'll see if this works out for them. They at least managed to get ahead on a round by winning the second laundry defense.
Attackers have
So
dropped
maybe
the
they
bomb.
figure while we're ahead, we'll try
Attackers have
this.
recovered their
But they're going to start losing deployable shields. And there's enough soft destruction between the Ash, the Zofia, and the Sledge that I gotta imagine these castle barricades are going to come down quickly. You see the one there as well. Deployable shield actually didn't go down right there.
Throwing
though.
frag.
Interestingly enough. And grenade didn't actually do a whole lot to them either. Enemy though is fairly low on health, which is going to make it fairly useless to Capta Firebolts. Fortunately for him, nowhere near with the bomb.
Enemy attempting to be reset through that wall. It's really providing some issues as Waka will take no weight as he will claim 2
Attackers have
victims in
located a bomb.
succession. Sirbas and Revan will both fall. And now enemy, after successfully being reset, but they lose 2 members on the side of Penta, will now try to re-engage in the Showers hallway just at the bottom of White Stairs. He's 1v1 right now against Waka on low HP, whipping out the shield and again slowing him down. And Waka losing health slowly but surely inside of these Showers, hitting the deck to avoid any crossfires. But a plant is suddenly coming out. Ramu trying to light the claws in the background. It's all background noise though, as this all comes down to the plant. Hungry will shred through Ramu with the SMG-11. 2 members of NORA-RENGO on low HP. One of them now been down. Mario on 5. Waka will now be claimed by enemy with the automatic SMG-9 in the side of the Showers, and he will continue to push forward. But now enemy down to
Defenders
about
have
10
located the
HP.
diffuser.
Spotting the drones, watching everything unfold, whipping out the SMG-9 once again. It's Hungry, ripping through the SMG-11. The side secondaries reigning supreme right now. One toxic babe at each door, but he's running out of time. A defender on each side. Perfect crossfire. The drone's coming out. There's no time. It's an easy cleanup for Papilia and NORA-RENGO as they retake the lead again. Yeah, I wasn't expecting us to have audio.
Yeah, no.
We usually don't.
That was exciting. What an attack, though.
I love it, though. I love it.
I gotta imagine Penta just didn't count on the sheer amount of utility that was coming out from NORA-RENGO. They had 3 soft destructors, tons of grenades coming from both the lifeline and Sledge. Also, you know, the remote breach is part of the soft destruction. There was just so little you could do against all that utility, and yeah, you have the Clash, but the Clash was getting weakened. While he was in the middle of getting reset, Waka just helped himself to the Showers. Something that you mentioned, NORA-RENGO definitely are liking on this map right now.
Defenders,
And once
protect your
again,
bombs
Waka
from
making
being
it his
defused
home.
by attackers.
Dorms is finally gonna be. Now the upside is, once they finish this defense, they can go back to laundry because they went to dining. But Waka, look at that, 12 leading the pack on Penta's side. They only have a 9 and an 8, whereas you've got a 9 as well from Papilia. But it's not all about kills, which is why you see this being so close. However, NORA-RENGO, gotta say, a great attack there on what is definitely a weak bomb site. It's really gonna matter. Can they take dorms as
10
efficiently?
seconds to insertion.
If they can, I fear for Penta.
5 seconds to insertion.
Well, a good response there.
ADS deployed and ready to
Probably
go.
would have been to go
Attackers
upstairs
recovered
right
the
after
diffuser.
the successful
Attackers are moving out to
defense
locate a bomb and defuse it.
downstairs. But
Yeah.
Penta learned their lesson. They did actually, if I'm remembering correctly, I think it was against NORA-RENGO, pull out the dining strap with enemy on the clash. Last time, there's been a lot of games, so it might have been a different game. I may be misremembering, but I do remember anyway that Penta brought it out at some point. So either it was against the stream or it was against Nora. Waka up on top of these washing machines in the junkyard spawn, just trying to catch anyone lazily rotating through the site in the master hallway, but I'm sure that angle is one of the most common pre-fires in the entire world on Oregon now.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be something that's not going to net you a whole lot, but he is still going to watch it anyways, just in case anyone goes for a rotate. You know, maybe someone's not going to peek him, but there's a lot of rotation that's usually going to happen in that spot as people look for different angles or try and go help with this side. But enemy getting the first pick there onto the bottom means lost utility, but hey, paid back in kind against enemy. I wouldn't say that's as much utility lost though on those batteries. So far, defenders coming out slightly ahead on that.
Well, the batteries, A, should have already been placed, and B, they directly counter the utility that is not here anymore from Raystill, as the Hibana, your sole hard breacher, is removed from play. So equalizing in a 4v4, stun cans coming out from Mariu, and now the impacts are all that remain in the lifeline, as he holds the angle very tightly with a reflex sight on the M762 as Waka slowly encroaches towards the big window as well. And you can see the separation right now from NORA-RENGO is rather intense. Ramu, I guess, imagining he can crouch through that. I'm not exactly sure if he can or not. It might be at the
doubt
height
it.
possible.
He might be able to prone through it slightly, but I doubt it because it's slightly raised.
Reload.
Waka at least being a good distraction, but the rest of the team's going to have to make the most of this. So this is just a fat waste of time. And Ramu not going to be the one to make the most of that either.
There goes your tower control, and then immediately forces Mariu off of the kid's windows. And imagine he's going to have to try and regroup with Waka, but attempting to knife an evil eye and then just falling immediately to a grave 6 feet under. Waka, a very fruitless attempt vaulting through the big window, won't result in anything at all.
Oh no!
Another ADS at the floor. A lot of simple mistakes happening here for NORA-RENGO. As they seem to be in desperation mode, and Blaz will mow them both down at the bottom of White Stairs. Mario and Papilia, they fall in turn. Here Jess riling up the squad, get him back into the mind frame of trying to take this and being in that aggressive stance that they were to begin the game against Nora. Now they've equalized once again. It's a back and forth game, not unlike the Liquid Mocket game we just watched for 4 hours in the lobby.
Absolutely. Well, Laundry coming out again, though, means we could see a lead go back to NORA-RENGO if they could capitalize on that. But they did lose it the last time. And a clash coming out, I gotta imagine they're gonna 6th pick off that. That is, yeah, there we go. That's not likely to stay. But Waka sneaking in the Ying for potentially a rush strat here. That's gonna be very interesting. That's gonna depend on, of course, Thatcher as well, potentially helping with that because you need to clear out those mute jammers. Or rush isn't gonna work super great because you need to be able to drone in along with that. Unless you're just gonna face check everything, rush it and hope the Candles do their work. But that's a tough spot to be in. The upside is, of course, with the Cap Town, you could smoke without having to clear ADSs, but you need to clear them for those Candelas to work. Although, who knows, maybe you'll see him push that on the backside on tower, which would be exciting to see at the very least.
Well, 5-5. Best of 2 rounds, at least remaining in regulation, lest we go overtime. And honestly, I don't see this avoiding overtime in any real capacity. I imagine
10 seconds remaining.
A loss here for Penta, and actually having just been successful
5 seconds
upstairs, they're in
remaining.
a dangerous position, although maybe they rework their dining defense or they hit tower, and it's enough to screw with the minds of NORA-RENGO and get us into overtime. But I imagine this round is going to be a loss simply because it is downstairs. There have been a couple successful downstairs defenses throughout the tournament. There's just a much larger number in the other column, which is losses. Mariu and Ramu double droning in through kitchen and dining, and they'll run into the same mute jammers they originally had placed for their hard set meeting hold with reinforcements. And it looks like it's just enemy right now who's going to be trying contesting any action from meeting split double doors. He's got it punched open on his right hand side. Try and take a fight up against anyone. It looks like Mariu is seeing the barricade, not noticing that it's popped from the left hand side. Playing quite confident because of it. It'll be up to enemy to try and take advantage of this bravado. It looks like Mariu has now clocked that door is partially open and have to be wary of any creeps coming. Mute Jammer is dispatched up with ease from the EMPs of Thatcher, and now the hatch will get opened up. Most likely signaling enemy to take an aggressive front, and there goes Mario. Like I said, playing with that bravado and confidence, unaware that there was someone within inches of claiming his life. And that's exactly what enemy will do, and hit the retreat all the way back to the tower stairs, and ascend up the stairs instead of returning back to the objective. Pillion, a hard set contest from the top of Armory stairs, through the attic walls, all the way to the T2 stairs, towards some fruitless pings that were a couple seconds old onto enemy and won't connect a single bullet. Waka now going back down the white stairs to regroup with NORA-RENGO, as they've been on a little bit of a wild goose chase, trying to lock down enemy and dispatch of him, but he makes it back to the site clean, and also claiming the life of Mario free with no possibility of a trade. And now with a minute 10 left, it's up to NORA-RENGO to regroup with the 4 members they have remaining.
It is interesting though to have Mario play that Ashe instead of Waka, because Waka hasn't been able to do a whole lot with that Ying so far, and Mario kind of died early like that. Certainly not going to help. There we go. As well to Ramu. Enemies just kind of denying a lot of map control here. That's really going to slow things down. I'm not sure the Ying pick is really going to do a whole lot for him this late into the round, unless they've got a bit more damage done. And so far, Penta, not a scratch on them.
NORA-RENGO not even really baiting anything out now. Pillion taking a lot of damage from the Evilize, trying to plant attempts, rushing straight through it again. Pillion down to about 5 HP. They're going to have to pick someone else, but Revon will just blast him 6 feet under with a nitro cell instead. Ramu descending out of the attic, and this Evil-Eye being a constant nuisance. I imagine it's all the way inside the closet. It is. They've got 2 of them lined up, 1 in the hallway, and no team damage, as Waka will still get a kill out of it, and they shoot the Evil-Eye, but a Toxic Babe lands directly onto Racehill and have to relocate over behind the laundry bins. Hungry, peeking around his own reinforcement, will take down Waka, down to a 4v2, an immediate rush from Revon, and Hungry will win it out for Penta, and a hard set contest from meeting from enemy.
And then you see for him, like.
Yeah.
And a good return there from Penta to set themselves up to take Oregon at least into overtime, because now they got to go somewhere stupid.
That did feel like a little bit of a misplay in a lot of ways. I mean, you needed the Ashe to still be alive to clear out that Evil-Eye like you're talking about. It's going to be huge pain. You could smoke and Candela all you want, but if they can see you through that Evil-Eye, none of it's going to do any good. The smoke and mirrors effect just pretty much disappears. And without someone that can take it out, yeah, Zofia is someone that can kind of do that, but Ashe is the only one to really effectively clear Evil-Eyes. By having Mario play that, getting killed early, similar to when we've seen Waka die early on those attacks, it seems to really just shut them down in terms of being effective. To bring a Ying like that and not really use it very effectively, I don't know, a lot of misplays that round, and that is going to give Penta a nice lead here. I mean, yes, it is only 1 point, but that's match point rather. And that's all they need on Penta's map to take this forward on what is an interesting tower choice here. They could go back to dining again, but I mean, I guess they're just going to be changing up. It is exciting to see a team play all 4 bomb sites on this map, just because it's so rare to see that.
Yeah, not looking to try again with the kitchen dining hold, as that has been wholly terrible throughout this entire event.
They were definitely force-fed that dining defense.
5 seconds to
So
insertion.
off to tower we go, and this has actually been a surprisingly strong objective this weekend, or week, sorry, between all the games on Oregon. It's not usually as successful as it has been in recent history, and I mean extremely recent history, but
well, teams have had the whole first half of the season to work on it because of the new rotation rules in the extra round. Well, not the new rotation rules, but because of those and the extra round, you have to have tower defenses now. You've really got to work on these. Now's not the time to just be like, I don't need that. So it's not surprising to me to see that game stepped up a bit, but it is surprising to see sometimes it working in this environment.
once again, Waka pre-firing every conceivable spot and angle that an enemy could be on the map, and it seems like just a great waste of ammunition there, but hey.
Hey, 160 bullets left, plus 21 or 27 in the mag. I think he'll be okay.
He'll be okay. Just seems like a drone could also establish when he's doing a little bit better without also revealing your location.
And it's certainly, it's certainly going to give away that you're coming. I mean, you have a character that's very stealthy in its approach in terms of speed, and yeah, that's certainly going to do the opposite of that. Drones itself aren't the most quiet things on Earth, but they're certainly quieter than bullets.
Yeah, I mean, if you hear a drone coming, there might be someone behind it, but there might not.
Yeah.
If you're an R4C pre-firing every angle on Earth, yeah, you're not walking into that.
I don't think it's a drone with an R4C cutting at you.
No.
Although, yeah, I suppose if you want to be Milwaukee, you could call him that. He is going to clear the basement, though, but that's just going to run him into 2. He doesn't know someone just dropped there. Or maybe he does as he rounds the corner. He's not pre-firing now, and there he goes. Waka takedowns to the boss, but he's still going to fight someone in the tower, and he is low on health. He saw that goo mine get thrown out. If he saw it as well, not going to be surprised. It's probably going to get taken out in the splash damage in clearing that barbed wire.
Good recovery there from Waka as Sir Boss was able to take down Papillia before dropping. And honestly, losing Papillia is pretty massive considering that is your main deterrent for anyone being inside of T3. The asphyxiating bolts in tandem with anyone holding on an angle on a window. You can still get somewhat of the same job completed with Ramu's frag grenades, and somehow Racel is attempting a plant. We're just pushing in the last 30 seconds here, and it's interesting positioning as it looks like NORA-RENGO has only really taken control of Meeting Hall, and they're trying to push in through T1. That is usually the least successful method of taking tower. Oh, the timing from Blaz, but it'll still work out, and he almost grabs 2 as Mario is now down to 30 HP. He'll have to push up the tower stairs once again in a 3v3. Ravon in a perfect position to jump out onto Ramu, but it looks like Ramu is anticipating this. Revan waiting for the call as they have T1 in control, and Hungry will push his way down the stairs, so it works both ways with this completely hard floor. But no one's going for the plant just yet. Here comes the vault, and they're stopping the plant. Revan, enemy, Hungry, all grab 1 apiece, and Penta take map number 1 over NORA-RENGO. 1 map away from the big stage for Penta. It'd be a return for the org and a new site for the players under it.
Well, I mean, it is not a surprise to see them win their own map, but what is interesting there is to see that the way that they won that just saw a lot of uncomfortability from NORA-RENGO on their attacks especially. On defense, they looked great. They felt like they know what they're doing. They did get taken advantage of by Penta sometimes, but it just seemed like on attack, yeah, Waka was confident, but the rest of his team, I don't know, you saw them get picked off kind of one at a time on that last round. They didn't really ever establish much of a beachhead. Like you said, they didn't get much map control. Outside of Waka running around back and forth in the basement, they didn't seem to have much of a presence. We didn't see that kind of T3 push down, use the crack on the door, kind of put a lot of pressure on, use utility. That wasn't happening. It was just, let's try and pick them off, and we're just going to be the ones picked off. Great timing, though, as well from Penta. Great reads on that. And overall, a great play on their own map, but it did get a little close. They definitely could have lost that. If NORA-RENGO can win their own map, though, then we end up on 3 maps, which, let's be honest, that's likely to happen. Some good replays, though, from a good match so far.
Oregon turns out to be quite the level-headed contest between both teams. And honestly, that's what we've been seeing a lot lately out of Oregon throughout the SI is very, very close games, usually resulting in an overtime game and usually resulting in a tie at the half, which cannot be said for a lot of other maps, surprisingly. But incredible individual efforts coming up from NORA-RENGO. It just seemed like the team play there and the coordination understanding of how to pick apart Penta's setups wasn't quite there. The surprise plays and the individual plays were there in spades for NORA-RENGO, but the teamwork and the cohesion, the chemistry working together to complete one goal, that is where NORA-RENGO were lacking.
Yeah, I felt like more often than not it relied on the Ashe player getting the job done. I mean, there was a bit of that on Penta's side as well from Blaz, but we saw both Waka and Mary trying to play that role. Waka being a bit more effective on it, but again, it just, as soon as that didn't accomplish what they needed it to, it seemed to stall out. To be fair, at least Waka lived a bit longer that last round, did what he needed to do. That pre-fire as he came around the corner when he read into someone dropping might have just barely hurt it.
Yeah.
That was a good round for Waka, but the rest of his team just fumbling around on the outside, not really getting a whole lot done in terms of getting actual control. We'll see how things go on Coastline, though, as this map plays out very differently than the way Oregon is set up.
And that's going to be a new one for me. All maps that I've done this week, we have never had a coastline, at least on any of the games I've casted.
Really? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's the one map I haven't done.
It's a good thing there's only 7 maps so that we get,
Yep.
you know, we knock the most of them out for you. Obviously, though, you're going to be here through the playoff stages, so you're going to get to do plenty more maps to go. Unlike Blue and Stokes, this is not your final cast of the event. Either way, yeah, you're ready to rub that in their face.
All day.
But either way, this is definitely going to be very interesting because both teams are good at this second map. So for it to be NORA-RENGO's pick, they've got to feel confident that they have some idea what PENTA are likely to do on it. Feel like, we've got some strategies in action that we can use. But with something like, 1 day between each match, you have limited time to make those preparations. You can't just sit there and study forever and ever, but I don't know. We'll see how they do on it because I think this could be maybe where PENTA could take a 2-0. Possibly?
Possibly. It usually does go that way with rematches. But ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back with map number 2, Coastline, on the other side of a short break.
I just think he's a lot of fun. He's a good player, and I think we'd have a great time. Out of energy, coffee, and drinks, I'd probably have to say coffee. A teammate that has the most annoying habit, probably Virtue. When we're scrimming, sometimes he says he loves to have snacks, so he just like eats on the microphone, and you can just hear him chewing, and it just like triggers everyone. So that's probably the most annoying habit so far. I'd probably just have a team of fraggers instead of a team of support, purely because it'd just be like so much more fun. You just like run in, no drones, no nothing. I think it would be myself. I'm just trying to think of fraggers here. Kanto, Nesk, Astro, and Virtue, I think. That'd be my fragger team. How do we celebrate after an important win? Big dinner with the boys and some drinks and just like a great time, I think. After a big win, you just feel really good, obviously. So like, I don't know, we just all have fun, I guess. A pet peeve while playing Siege. Actually, sometimes I get like uncomfortable when I'm sitting down, and like when I'm uncomfortable, I like can't aim straight at all. So I think it's like a mental thing where like if I'm uncomfortable, I can't aim straight. But if I'm comfortable, then I can aim really well. So I get really annoyed at myself when I'm like not comfortable. That's kind of weird, but yeah. The loudest player on the team would definitely be me. Yeah, that's probably the end of the story there, because even in my like titles of some videos I've done, it's just like volume warning or like watch out, don't your phone user sort of thing. So.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 6th Invitational 2019 Group Stage Finale. It is Group D between PENTA and NORA-RENGO. Map number 1 concluded with a 7-5 victory for PENTA over NORA-RENGO, an opposite result to what we saw in map number 1 on Monday between these two teams. It is a rematch for anyone just joining us.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough thing for NORA-RENGO because you want to be that other APAC team to get in. There's always plenty of European teams to make it in here, but it is extra special to be the ones to make it in with Fnatic for those final stage event matches. And you have to win your map here, obviously, to stay in this, but also it's just a point of pride to win your map here because you picked this for a reason and you picked a very risky map. As you can see, it is a decent one for PENTA, especially compared to NORA-RENGO's record on it. So you gotta have something special in mind. But you see how many times it was played by PENTA means also a bit more footage on it. I mean, yes, it's only one more time, or no, 2 more times rather, that still, you can't assume that they're going to play it any time, anyway similar to what they've played it before. Most teams are going to be coming into this somewhat expecting what the map picks are going to be, but with the ban pick system, it is much harder to corner the enemy team into the map picks you want because they get a chance to pick a map so early before you can start to ban as many. So Coastline is going to be a wild card, I think, for me, because I'm slightly favoring this not going all the way after what we saw so far and just how NORA-RENGO haven't looked as collected as I would expect from them.
Yeah, it seems like, again, they're relying on that individual aspect of their team more than the teamwork that got them to where they are currently. I still think Coastline is a map that will favor them, honestly, with their aggression and their ability to make those individual plays. I think Penta will have to be extremely cautious of their surroundings at all times, because at any given moment, a member of NORA-RENGO might just be jumping out a window, a door, or a balcony. Try and claim your life early. So a Glaz and a Ying ban.
Well, there's the ban against Hungary, finally. This is a map that he kind of made it famous, though, more so than Oregon.
Also, Hungary wasn't even playing Ying last game on Oregon, even though it was available to him, so obviously flexing his flexibility.
Well,
Speaking of flexing, there goes Valk, and Echo was also the third ban.
Well, that's two intel operators, as we like to call them, off the board. Of course, Maestro's still available, so that is going to be a huge play as part of this, but it also means you're going to see some of those black mirrors as well, potentially. So attacks are going to have to be very careful in terms of making sure they know, do they have those set up? Is anyone playing behind them? Is there the evil eyes? Which way are they facing? That initial intel into an execute means executes cannot be super fast either, because you got to know what you walk into, but it also means saving utility to take care of them. Amonte possibly coming out from Waka. It is sometimes foolish to bring those. There you go. The 6th pick off of it is going to trick them. Hookah will be interesting here at first defense, although I got to say, of all the bomb sites to bring Amonte, Hookah actually might be a decent one to set up for that plant, because the default plant spot is so predictable when it comes to planting that. The ability to block that with a Montane shield actually could be the thing that saves your planter's life. Assuming they don't just smoke clip through the wall, I suppose, from behind the minibar.
Yeah, I imagine we might be seeing a little bit of that, and that's unfortunate, but
it's effective. It certainly is, and
it works.
You certainly want to take advantage of predictability in plant spots and punish them for it, really. We will see a Jackal play, though, so it should be a little more difficult for Ravon to be able to kind of do his thing in terms of hanging out if his footprints are caught, as he is likely to be playing possibly below to stop a pool table plant, maybe even a default spot as well.
Attackers recovered the diffuser. Attackers' objective
You're in
is
a do or die situation here if you are NORA-RENGO, so getting off to a good start. I think it'll be aided by the fact that they're on attack first on Coastline, a map that has traditionally trended attacker favored, but right now everything is defender sided, so
it certainly is.
We'll see how the balance weighs out in this one. I won't really give any predictions away at that point as to how many rounds they'll likely get, because this is a whole new ballpark with a whole new meta compared to the last time the Coastline was extremely attacker favored.
Well, as far as last map goes, though, it did show the favoritism towards Penta on defense. They were a little bit more, I'd say, smart in the way they played their defenses in terms of reading into the way the attacks were coming down and adapting to them, whereas we didn't see that from NORA-RENGO, who got caught with their pants down a couple times in a row. So if that trend continues here, that could be a problem. And we see Mario again playing what would normally be Waka's role. And Waka, interestingly, on Thatcher. We do see plenty of Thatchers that frag out, though, Laxing being one that comes to mind, for example. So it won't be the biggest deal here, and he's going to take that Evil Eye out. Not sure if there's another one still here, because that's both his breaching rounds. If there's another Evil Eye, that could be a real problem on the execute. They do have some smokes from Papilli on the Jackal, but they will be seen right through, potentially.
Well, Blaz taking a lot of damage immediately, but will manage to salvage his life in the process. And I imagine that's him. It might not actually be him playing inside of Hookah. Let's use the silhouette and an SMG-11 in hand. It looks like it's actually Hungary. So Revon will actually be the first casualty. Blaz is playing down below. Ramu will attack on onto Hungary. So there goes your smoke and your pulse. Two great operators at denying plant. Papilia and Mario will be shredded by the Alda. Going for 3 now is Sir Boss. Twisting in the wind is Ramu. So claim the life of enemy through the wall. Flicking back. And Sir Boss with the Bailiff will win it out. So suddenly down to a 2v2. Health advantage strongly on the side of NORA-RENGO. Even now, after Blaz gets the kill onto Waka. An errant Nitro Cell will not connect on the intended target. Diffuser on the dead body, playing by Vase. Flashes out towards the top of Cool Vibe stairs. Bearing 9 in hand. There you go, back to the Type 89. Ballsy decision to whip out the bearing in a clutch situation like this, but sprinting straight towards the stairs. And Blaz will be the saving grace for Penta as they secure round number 1 off a flurry of trades back and forth directly on the objective, but halfway through the round.
I gotta wonder where the rest of the team was in terms of support when they were taking hookah. That was such a great take. One of the biggest problems we always see, the reason teams have to plant default spot is because they gain no control of hookah side. They often don't even pressure from the tarps in the window or anything like that. They just try and pressure from Aqua into the billiards room and then go for a plant via smokes. That was a great take from behind, but you saw how many angles he had to face. Honestly, had he just pre-fired with the pistol around the corner, he likely would have been able to take out the Maestro. But either way, his team needed to be there to support him. And unfortunately, the lack of doing so just was a big problem for them on that round and made them struggle a little bit. We might be getting a tactical timeout here, possibly, as the timer has stopped.
Yeah, it looks like a tac timeout, but no one's
Yeah, we don't see the
talking
overlay,
on the
so
side of NORA-RENGO, so
could be a technical issue as well. They may just be pausing for that as they try and resolve it. Yet we are getting word that it is a technical issue, so we're not sure what it is at the moment, but hopefully it will be quickly resolved without any need for any kind of rehost. Looks like, though, they are likely to go to kitchen next. I believe they still have 2 seconds to change that, but probably not likely enough time to do so.
yeah, I wouldn't imagine so.
So we'll see. Interesting to go for kitchen as their next one. I mean, Penthouse is certainly defensible to an extent, especially given
With
the operator
Mira
still available.
still available, yeah.
And Maestro as well.
And Maestro.
So definitely doable. But either way, kitchen is going to be the next one to attempt. Kitchen, of course, is a great bomb site, though, regardless of who you have available. So certainly nothing wrong with doing that. It is definitely one of the best bomb sites on this map for defenders. We'll see how they're going to hold out on that, though, after a very good, but also not the most efficient defense in terms of them losing hookah itself. Still not sure what the actual issue is in terms of the technical issue. Hopefully they can resolve it quickly. Not sure which team either is the one having the actual issue.
Yeah, I can't actually tell. It looks like PENTA, considering Jess is having some issues with a microphone right now. There's a referee bending down to help with that. Other than that, I can't actually tell. Everyone on NORA seems set. Everyone's still in the lobby, so it's something we don't know, but it's a tech issue of some kind.
A sound issue more often than
Yeah,
not.
maybe.
Most technical issues are sound issues or some kind of hardware disconnection, so there are definitely issues where it sounds like a microphone issue. So yeah, it was an audio issue, but not in the direction that I was thinking. Hopefully they can resolve it without needing to swap out hardware. Could just be even a loose plug for all we know. They do get a little excited sometimes and start yanking on those cords.
Yep. I mean, we've seen that plenty of times from both of these teams playing now and other teams throughout the tournament. The emotions, the energy running high, and honestly, if you're NORA-RENGO, you're kind of happy this has happened because you just dropped the first round on a map that you need to win to keep yourself alive in the 6th Invitational and be that second APAC representative like we talked about. Fnatic went 2-0 in Group A and were able to proceed through without much resistance, honestly. Fnatic have looked really, really strong.
Yeah. Well, it's nice that every region gets representation, though, on the stage. It's just a matter of quantity. North America actually having one of their best showings here, despite losing Rogue, managing to make 3 teams in to the quarters. So will be exciting to see, though, if we could get 2 APACs to go in that with that as well. But either way, Europe, of course, they did have quite a few teams in this, so it's no surprise to see them having quite a few teams making it through as well. But hey, only so many can go. So we'll see how they end up on this. But Penta, again, looking strong. They're coming off of winning the first map and then winning the first round of this as well. On attack, this is a map now. It's hard to say whether it's attacker side or defensive side because the current meta is mostly defensive sided all around.
Yeah.
This is a map that for a while was very attacker sided.
Yep.
Some of that was due to mirror bans, and some of that was just due to the way that teams were playing it, the difficulty in roaming on this map, and the way that it was being controlled. Well, this map's been around long enough to evolve over time, and in theory, should be following the defender-sided meta. But if that is the case, then Penta's first defensive win is not a huge surprise. So we'll see if NORA can break that, though, and manage to get at least a few wins on their attacking side. But again, their attacks have looked a little bit sloppy. I did, like I said, I did like the attack on Hookah, that was fantastic. He was even kind of on a swivel there, managing to try and fight two angles once and actually surviving doing so in terms of the Maestro not being able to fight him while he fought the other angle. It's just lack of pre-fire around the corner cost him on that. But the rest of his team unable to back him up on that and come in for a push and possibly a plant onto Billiards while he was fighting Hookah ultimately cost him, because you did have that mute off-site who would have had to run back for a retake possibly, and it might have been too little too late. They would have likely had the plant down by then. So we'll see. It sounds like we are getting somewhat close to resolution, but we'll not be jumping back into the game just yet. So we'll take at least a few minutes here to completely resolve this. But so far, I mean, we only have one round in, so not a ton to talk about just yet.
No, not really a lot to talk about on Coastline. I mean, we could go back and rehash some of the things that had happened on Oregon. But with that being said, looks like everyone is getting back underway momentarily as, like you said, Kitchen and Service will be the defense for Penta. They do have a Clash currently selected by Ravon.
Gotta imagine it's a six-pick. Rarely do you show that. Unless you want to six-pick something else and cover that up by them thinking that you're going to six-pick off the Clash.
My big thing is that it's Enemy playing the Mira and Ravon playing the Clash currently in the op select, which those of you watching at home cannot see. Enemy has been the Clash player for Penta this entire week. I don't imagine that changing anytime soon.
Yeah.
Especially for a role like Mira, where you sit on site.
Yeah.
So I imagine Ravon could play that just as well, and Enemy could be the more proficient shield player, which takes a little more coordination and experience to play.
Huh?
So I imagine you're right. That'll be a 6-pick if we ever get there.
I mean, it's still an interesting idea, right? Because let's say they're trying to push from delivery. You could pretty much lock them out of that with a Clash because they're very unlikely to have the bathroom side, because lobby can be hard to clear if someone successfully plays behind the desk or from the security office. If they can't push that flank, there's very little they can do to push in through that doorway. I mean, yes, you're not Monty in a lot of ways, but you can slow down a lot of attempts to push in through there, and you're going to have someone playing behind the Black Mirror to back you up on that if they can try and sneak past you. So that requires them to flank from the Sunshine Bar, Cool Vibe Stairs, or even try and put pressure on from the window leading into the actual kitchen. But that puts a lot of pressure on the attackers then to find a different approach of attack. But again, yeah, that's tipping your hand too far by showing that right now when you have a 6-pick available. So unless someone else is going to 6-pick, it's not really necessary to show that. But it does make them wonder, what are you going to be 6-picking to? When you don't know. Let's say you're expecting Ravon to be on that mirror, then you're expecting maybe that's Enemy that's on the Clash that's going to 6-pick off to something else, and could be totally wrong in predicting what that would be. Also, it's unlikely that NORA-RENGO are going to have the intel to be able to predict what Penta would do anyways, because yes, there are VODs available, but there's something to be said about being within the same region to know what they're going to do, and there is that 6-pick. Was going to be to Doc for a second there, but it is going to be over to Pulse. But we're going to sneak Waka in on the ability to make some phone hacks. See what he can do from there. And see if that leads to maybe a little bit of extra aggression. It is interesting to see an aggressive player, though, picking Dokubi, just because the DMR, not going to be a super aggressive indoors weapon. But if you're very comfortable with the CZ, you can use it. But like the SMG-11, you're going to have to reload that pretty fast. So it's not like the R4C, where you're going to go around maybe popping a couple heads even before you need to reload. So it is risky to have a player like Waka doing that, I think, especially if he's playing kind of an entry role. Whereas, you've got Maryu taking up that role yet again. Who knows, maybe they'll be working in tandem or possibly backing it up with the Jackal to get some footprints to combine with the phone calls, see if they can clear out as much as possible, as soon as possible. Get some of that early map control. But it looks like we did switch bomb sites over to... Wait, is that switched over to Penthouse?
No, still kitchen.
Okay, it's just looking through it, and they're setting up in Penthouse there.
Yep. This
Which
is
is
a pretty old setup.
It's not unusual, of course, to set up in Penthouse because you want to defend above it. But sometimes from the overhead view, you can't tell because of the outlines. So, see how they're going to do this. Of course, Maryu a little bit concerned about those boards being open because, well, he didn't open them. And like I said, it is difficult to deal with anyone in that security office, which is kind of what he's facing to. Or someone sitting more in that lobby, possibly behind the desk, which looks more like what we might be seeing Sir Boss doing.
It is Sir Boss on the Maestro, who's checking cams out behind the Lambo desk. Either that or just to the left of it, looking to take some engagements. And yeah, he's just on the left-hand side behind the cabinet corner.
That's pretty exposed, though, when he could be a bit further behind the desk. So, interesting choice of positioning.
He's also just there sitting on cams for a majority of the time. He's now gotten off them as Waka's drone will approach its way down the CCTV hallway, and this wooden barricade preset by the defenders will be a telltale sign. A nice little audio cue. And it seems like a lot of pre-fires in through the blue bar window were enough to scare Boss back to sight, but nonetheless, he's evacuated his former position behind that main desk as Waka's drone completely missed that he was ever there.
Yeah, unfortunate, a little bit late on that intel. Interesting, too, that Waka's going to be running with the SMG-12, where you got to be running that pretty close range because, unlike the CZ, it's not very controllable anymore. It is difficult. Mary, though, in the meantime, actually has taken a little bit of damage, and Revan the one to get fully punished for that by Papilia. So far going a little bit in the favor of NORA-RENGO, as that is a C4 and additional intel off the board with the Pulse dead.
You can see that giant hole made by Mariu on that kitchen wall, so now opening up for the default plant spot inside of the kitchen. You see Racel spotting out the Evil Eyes. It's a three-man stack, and Ramu will come in and support and use the impact off the lifeline. Now it's up to enemy to rotate into the waiting arms of Waka. I guess that's what it's all up to him for. 2 in the main lobby, 3 pressing from Sunrise. It's a bad look here for Penta to try and weather this storm approaching. Laws will take first engagement out in the main lobby up against Waka. Smoke grenade will disrupt the purview of the mirror, but Blas will win out against Waka with the 416. Could go for a flank CC or deal with the other member, Mary, who's now rotated all the way to the service doorway. Racel attempting a plant in default, and Ramu will chew right through Blas on an attempted flank. Mario coming in the backside through service door. Leaves just Boss alone in a 1v4, playing the same mirror that they all know where he was before. And everyone on NORA-RENGO backs out and hold off.
Nope. We'll see. Nope, I was going to say we'll see if Boss can take this back, but yeah, that was hopeless at that point, unfortunately. Might have been able to take that one with him, but nice execution, though, overall by NORA-RENGO.
Good job dismantling whatever was available of the roam game for Penta, slowly picking it apart, and then cordoning off sections of the map. A good flank hold there from Waka, stopping the attempted rotate back. And we got another tech issue.
Uh-oh, something's going on with Mario here. So we see the weight issue in there. PC crash, unfortunately. That is definitely going to set us back at least a good 30 seconds or more. As hopefully that was just the application crashing and not the entire PC, of course. That would be much longer reset. We are going to see them go to bar next, though. Now, of course, because they lost kitchen, they could go back to it again. But instead, they're going to go back to the rooms next to it in Blue and Sunrise Bar. See Racel actually sneaking off there, faking his pick before 6 picking over. Looks like we are going to wait for them here. We're just going to use the pause function that we have at LAN to be able to pause and just wait for that PC reboot. That's the nice thing, of course, is we don't have to have a full rehost. When you're at LAN, you can just pause, wait for the computer to reboot, wait for them to rejoin, and just get right back underway with 3 seconds left on that timer once he does. So, not too bad, but of course we are going to have to wait for that PC reboot to finish before we can get back into it.
I really did like that push there from NORA-RENGO last time. It was a good response as well after being pretty handedly in control of the first round, attacking Hookah as well. And Mario has made a swift return.
Well, nicely done.
Just waiting to see if we can get the timer back underway, if everything's okay with him or not. But yeah, it was a good response there from Nora. I like their segmentation of the map and picking off and taking their 1v1s where they could against Penta. But for Nora, that's got to turn into some consistency and some repetitivity for them, because there's no way you're going to win off one-offs here, and you are on your do-or-die elimination map here. You've got to win this and push for map 3, which we have. Okay, something happened. We're going to be delayed a little bit longer on the tech issue.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looked like we were ready to get going there, and we might have had the spectator disconnect potentially, but it looks like we may have to rehost the lobby. Hopefully there's no other issues with the players. It sounds like there might have been an issue with the rejoin that might have caused the problem, needing us to rehost the lobby. No big deal, though. Everyone is here. This is not like online where it takes all the players forever to get back into the game, because they're all physically sitting here. So in theory,
we can yell at them
Yeah.
to be faster.
Although there's definitely been plenty of lands where I wonder what is taking them so long when they're all right there. We are seeing them flood back into the lobby, though, so shouldn't be too long before we can get it back underway again.
Hopefully. Like I was saying, though, if NORA-RENGO are unsuccessful here at taking down PENTA on Coastline, it's all said and done. However, if they can prevail, then we go to Border as the decider.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see just because it has been a very good map overall for PENTA. So that is one of the situations where even if PENTA lose this, could be NORA-RENGO walking into a trap, which PENTA are able to close on because they have a very good record overall on that map. But I don't know. It's going to be tricky to see because that also means, again, lots of footage of that map, which is something that NORA-RENGO could play into. But it's not just about footage, it's not just about strats. There is also the sense of comfort on that map, knowing that map well, playing that map well, some of that fluidity that comes out from being able to do so, that isn't just strats that you can study. But that being said, you can also study the tendencies of players, the way that people tend to play that map, even if they're not following the same strats. You will tend to see certain players do certain things in certain ways when they're playing on certain operators. So if the stars align for you, you can still predict, even if it's a slightly different strat.
For PENTA, though, I imagine their main goal here is to stack up as many defensive wins as possible, just in case that this turns into an attacker onslaught, as most Coastline games have been in the past. Just waiting to see how this one will break down. We're 1-1 so far, so it's not much data to be collected.
Luckily, we've got all the players in. It's just a matter of making sure we're good to go from there.
Yeah.
At least we know what the bomb site is, kind of what's going on with the operators. They, of course, have to pick the same operators again. Since they went to the 6th pick phase, that meant they definitely went to the reveal phase, which does give an opportunity for them to think about what they're going to do, but it does mean they cannot change any operators as a result of that. So the 6 picks they made are the ones they have to commit to. Although I do wonder, because it wasn't completely through the lobby, if they hadn't 6th picked yet, could they then 6th pick in response to what they saw? Possibly. I mean, you already can from the reveal phase. They just have a bit longer to do so now. They could benefit from, I suppose. Theoretically.
Possibly, if they saw anything that would really scare them, but typically you're 6-picking to play the mind games more than anything.
Well, thankfully, this won't break anyone's momentum, per se, because both teams have won one round each, so neither team really at the point where I would say they have momentum. But like you said, that was a good attack from NORA-RENGO. So I imagine that since that was an attack onto the first floor, and they will be attacking the first floor again in a similar sort of area, we could see, again, potentially, fairly good attack come out from them.
You can see the exhaustion on, I'm pretty sure that's Hungary. She's bent over right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, despite the fact that these guys didn't have to play earlier, they all probably got up fairly early as well. So they're all getting a bit tired. I think a lot of times players prefer to be playing early in the day. You know, when they're fresh, they're awake, they've had their coffee, they want to get their match going and over with, win or lose, so they can move on to the rest of the day of thinking about things, whether that be thinking about how did we lose and can we do something about it, or how did we lose and what are we going to do after we get home. Either way, it is definitely something you usually prefer. These teams definitely going to be like, this is the end of the night, probably the end of their normal sleep cycle to an extent, as they are all likely to hit the hay once they get home. Although, you never know, they might celebrate because they are going to have a day off if they win. One day off, but it is something they may celebrate with some drinks and stay up a little bit later. But unfortunately for the coaches of the winning team, you get no breaks.
No. Time to go VOD review.
Yep.
Everything that you guys missed while practicing for the game today.
Yeah, if you ever see the coaches here towards the end of the weekend, people like Shaz just look like they haven't slept in a month when you see them, because they have one of the hardest, least respected jobs of all. And they often spend more time on this game than the players do, as hard as that is to say, to believe, rather. So, luckily, it looks like we are back into the game, though, as you do not see it yet. But we are getting the Let's Go, Have Fun, Have Fun's coming out as everyone gets ready to pick the same operators again and make sure they're good to do so. So we have no issues there. People going to go for the same 6 picks because you do not want to reveal what you 6 picked to. So you're still going to do the pick and then the 6th pick.
A blue bar and sunrise bar defense. So it seems like Penthouse still remains the pariah of defensive sites on coastline.
I got to imagine Blaza's 6th pick is meant to hide that, make them think they are going to be playing on Penthouse when they're not necessarily. So some good strategy in there. A lot of times 6 picks are used to do that to help disguise bomb sites. When there is certain operators that make sense to be played on certain bomb sites, you can indicate that falsely.
Seems like a pretty typical setup, at least from the early onset here by Penta, but typical reinforcements coming out to protect your cubby, to look in towards blue bar from office. The office wall, whether it's reinforced or not, that's been a pretty common debate, but usually blow open. And Blaz is going to reinforce that wall into office from blue bar, but you blow open the wall into courtyard, you make a rotation hole exactly where Hungary just crouch walk through and put some barbed wire in front of. You got a couple holes up top on your cubby wall to launch some nitros or toxic babes over that hole and stop a plant in behind the bar, and then it all comes down to a sunrise push at that point because you don't really want to deal with the 3-way crossfire and utility dump that you're in a rude awakening for if you try to go for that blue bar plant.
It isn't. Okay. Ooh, that was punished. Just trying to get the default cam cost you half your life. The predictability, and that is something you see from a lot of players, just trying to get the initial steps checked off early. They will do things in very predictable ways. One that comes to mind is the east stairwell camera on border. Teams very typically going and shooting the through the barricade the same way. Could even be punished by people creeping up east stairwell if it's not properly droned. In this case, Mariu, he's only going to go down to half health, not the worst possible scenario to be in. But when you want to be an entry frag, you need to be at full health if you want to be of the most use to your team. Ramu, though, is going to take even more punishment, Blaz, having taken a little bit as well.
It's a good fight back and forth between Blaz and Mariu now, and Ramu. He's contesting all of this 3-man push from NORA-RENGO on the top side. A 4th man of Ramu coming on the hookah balcony, but it was Papilia, Raysil, and Mariu all pushing over from VIP balcony over, and they'll utilize one set of X-Kairos to pop open the reinforcement that was utilized to try and protect anyone in the hallway on their rotations. Blaz, though, playing the first victim of the round onto Ramu. There goes your Thatcher. Not the biggest deal, but the mute jammers could prove to be quite a pain in the backside for NORA-RENGO, and not having that Thatcher will be enormous late round.
And there's certainly a chance that some of those phone calls might not even connect with the phones due to those mute jammers that are likely to be sitting in place now that you've lost the Thatcher EPs. But Mariu is going to punish despite the lack of health onto enemy, evening things out here for the most part.
Jackal track coming out to one of the defenders of Penta over inside of office. He was right below Mariu, and Papilia was pushing into CCTV office to try and contest that. So it's now a double stack. You see how the ping's still coming out downstairs onto that member of Penta. Hold up inside of office. Papilia slowly encroaching towards the doorway, and the retreat coming out, as I imagine that would be Blaz or Ravon. Now more Jackal pings coming out onto the original defenders. They'll swap over to, I believe that's Blaz, downstairs, and Mariu just scanning the horizon up top, making sure no one is going for any rotations. But we now approach 30 seconds remaining, and here comes a flank coming. It appears to be from Blaz, sprinting towards that stairwell again, and Mariu shut down. An immediate trade by Papilia, though, onto Ravon, and there are 18 seconds for NORA-RENGO to try and get this plant off. More smokes come raining in, and Raysil makes it in behind the bar. An attempt with the Toxic Babe choking him out. Impacts come in, and finally, he'll be shut down now by Blaz on a vault over 2 for Waka with the SMG-12. Servas left alone, but no one has picked up the diffuser, and no one attempted the plant. They're going for the kill, and Papilia! Oh my god, the last-second kill!
I honestly did not see NORA-RENGO winning that. Fantastic play. That was an over-aggressive peak when they did not have enough time. You have 80 bullets. Fire from a more covered position. Absolute mistake made by Penta there, gifting the round over to NORA-RENGO.
That was...
That was such a good round for Penta, too, leading up to that.
That's a tough one if you're Penta. That's a tilter right there.
Yeah, that is certainly something you need to just quickly erase from your mind, or that might easily cost you the following round just on mental you stress alone. Hopefully not too much anger or blame coming out on that, but you're certainly going to be feeling it. Even if no one says anything to you, you're going to be hurting, sitting down, kicking yourself in the butt.
Yeah, if you're sure boss on that one, you might want to
Yeah.
rethink your entire mental strategy for this game.
Yeah.
That was the freest sit in a corner and don't die moment, and you're a hero.
Yeah. Blaz, the only one showing up with kills there, but that is, of course, because we have the rehost, so you must keep that in mind when you look at the scoreboard after that. That while the round counts may be reflected by the rehost, the scores, the individual kills, and things like that will not be put back in place. So, just goes to show who was somewhat the hero of that particular round, but not overall. Sir Boss doing a bit of a sloppy remodel, but I guess that's what you get for a pistol shotgun.
Attackers have recovered
Back
their
to kitchen, Penta will
Attackers are
go.
heading
And
out
they
to defuse
were
a
quite
bomb.
unsuccessful. I'm surprised they're not reattempting the blue bar, sunrise bar defense. Honestly, that should have been a win. It came down to one dude not sitting in the corner long enough.
I like Mary you being a bit more careful this time.
Yeah, I mean, man, Blaz was having a good time on the roam game. Kitchen didn't end well. It came down to a 1v4 for Sir Boss again, and that didn't end well either. So. Kitchen defense, a little suspect. Maybe they think they can make a few changes, but definitely their blue bar, sunrise bar defense as far as their roaming potential and their top control from Bloss, showing a lot more promise than what we've seen on Kitchen so far.
Yeah, definitely gonna be interesting to see how this goes down when they reattempt Kitchen, because it's like they're not reattempting the last one they failed, they're reattempting the one before that they failed. That, like you said, was a much better attack from NORA-RENGO. It's got to be down to them thinking they saw some weakness in the attack they can exploit, or some predictability.
Clearing the way.
But so far, it's looking like NORA-RENGO still being just as efficient on this approach. No one punishing them. Despite the attempts here coming out from theater, they are opening up the angles. So the defenders of PENTA are going to have to play this smart, but they are putting some hurt onto Ramu in the meantime. And unfortunately, the enemy, the one punch. Oh! Waka just sending Blast into the next world.
That's what we're talking about when we say NORA-RENGO are some of the most mechanically gifted players in the world, to immediate, devastating kills, and honestly, you're getting style points for both of those. Ramu's taking a lot of damage in his engagement, but Waka continues to run for NORA-RENGO, and Sir Boss completely asleep at the wheel right now. Will have to move away from the evacuated floorboards above his head, thanks to Raysil carrying the diffuser. So Hungry and Sir Boss in a 2v5, not unlike the last time they defended this objective, although Hungry with a great shot with the SMG-11 long range, down to 2 HP though, needs to turn the corner with a pre-fire, but no, Papillia and Ramu will round things out. NORA-RENGO, 2 consecutive rounds, and honestly, Penta probably shouldn't have gone back to Kitchen.
Yeah, we were talking about whether or not this was attacker-sided or not. Well, it does look like it's attacker-sided at the moment. Again, that was most...
Let's be real, though. It should be 2-2.
It should be 2-2, and that was what I was going to say, is it's only seeming to be attacker-sided for Kitchen, because Bar was kind of thrown away, unfortunately, and they could even go back and try Bar again right now, just to give themselves a little bit of buffer on Hookah, but instead, they are going to just go back to Hookah. As you mentioned, it's seeming like Penta not wanting to mess with Penthouse, even though they certainly could do so. It's just, I mean, in some ways it is a hard bomb site to attack in the sense that you have limited approaches, but the defenders themselves also are limited in the positions they could be sitting in, so, you know, it's kind of 50-50 in that sense. I gotta wonder, though, will we see them take the Hookah side on attack as efficiently as they did last time? And if so, will the rest of the members of NORA-RENGO be there to back up the attack and quickly turn that into a plant? Or will it just be a slow slugfest pushing from Aqua through billiards like we often see from many teams? Kind of more the traditional style attack.
Well, last time this round, or this objective was played, was the very first round of this map, and that also was a clown fiesta when it comes to trades and nonsense and anarchy inside the objective. It was basically just a straightforward gut punch coming out from NORA-RENGO, trying to immediately bust their way into the site and clear out as fast as possible, and it ended up in a 1v2 for Raysil to work his way out of, and he was unsuccessful in doing so, so he gifted Penta their only round on this map.
Yeah. I gotta imagine that it is entirely within the realm of possibility that NORA-RENGO can win this attack, given how they attacked it previously. And given how their attacks have been much more coordinated on this map than we just saw on Oregon, seeming like this is just a better map for them because, well, it is their map pick. So it is seeming to be, when it comes down to your map pick between these two teams, the attacks are much more confident from the team that has picked that map.
Also, if you're Penta in this scenario, you desperately want to win this round. Not only to make up for the one you threw away, which would have put you in a tie, but a 4-1 lead is pretty difficult to overcome. Granted, on a map like Coastline that typically is attacker favored and they're on the defense, yeah, you can make some arguments. But 3-round deficit, all it takes is one mistake when you're on your attacking rounds, and all of a sudden it's an entirely different ball game. Your one map advantage evaporates, and you've got to go all the way the distance at closing in on 11 p.m. when people have probably been here for about 12 to 15 hours already.
Yeah, pretty sure at some point they're just going to lock the doors and we are going to sleep here.
Attackers have located a bomb.
The exhaustion must be setting in, and I imagine if you're Penta, that's got to be some pretty good motivation to try and get this thing over with.
Yeah, I bet they wish they were on attack so they could push in more aggressively right now. Speaking of which, though, nice job by Mary with the Ash right on in on Sir Boss. And that's a great initial kill. Means now those Evil Eyes cannot rotate to stop some more of these smokes, but that is one of the only 2 smokes already used.
See the control at the top. Cool vibes. An enemy will rip out and take down Mario in a trade, but there's another one at Vase. Papilia carrying the diffuser. A lot of missed shots towards Cool Vibes stairs and they get shredded in the backside because of it. The 460. No, enemy! What a great third shot. Trying to go for 4 and it won't land. Pre-fires towards the top of the Vase. Down to 5 HP. It's a 3v2 favoring Penta now. No diffuser control. Currently in a cloud of toxic smoke at the hands of Hungry. It's a beautiful spot to be in for Penta to try and secure this round. Rotations from Waka at the bottom of Cool Vibe stairs. That was the last Toxic Babe expended. Down to the last 30 seconds. Enemy on extremely low HP and not catching the rotation directly in front of that punch hole. Ravon going for a long flank through luggage as well. They're surrendering a lot of control. Ramu, who's recovered the diffuser, and Waka and Ramu will regroup at the top of Cool Vibe stairs. 15 seconds and they push their way into the back of Billiards. Split push. Waka will claim the life of enemy. Ramu trying to put the plant down inside of Billiards with the cover of Waka just on the left-hand side of Hungry. He's going to stand up right beside him, completely unaware. What a great flick from Hungry. Planting in behind the bar. Oh my, the whiff! But finally, Ramu will get down by the shotgun. Not even going to try and withstand, and Hungry will clutch things out. Assess the situation, counter, defuse. Penta steal one back and just a gong show of a round.
Unfortunately for NORA-RENGO, Hungry, definitely one of the best smoke players there is. And for that very reason, a big part of this is his shotgun play and the way he plays off that. It's not just about the smokes for him, it's about the way he uses the weapons and the way he plays very smartly to defend for his team. But that definitely was very close to the diffuser getting planted. Certainly possible we could have seen that go NORA-RENGO again, but so far that has been the story of that bomb site, where it is always close for them, but not quite something they can win. But that means they've got to switch back to bar again. Like you said, they probably could have tried that again earlier and might have been more successful on it without, I don't know, making some misplays at the end of their round. Entirely possible we go to the side switch with a 3-3 scenario, much like we did last map, because these two teams, much like the Liquid and Mocket, are very, very balanced between the two, it seems.
Honestly, it's been... no one can get more than a 2-round lead as far as maps are concerned, and it makes for very close games, but very back-and-forth games, and no one really running away with a little bit of momentum and being able to take control of a game. They're always long, long games with a lot of rounds behind them.
I think that's the story of group stages, and that's been the story of group stages since Paris as well. Is just a lot of cutthroat competition. I really hope this time, this level of competition, this insane level of competition we're seeing, carries over into the stage matches, because I don't know, I've been very, very impressed, and I love having a week of this after a super month, just because so much good siege, not just filler siege, great siege, and at an international level now.
So, returning to the place of the throw for Penta, Blue Bar and Sunrise Bar, a reattempt here on their final defensive round in this map, lest we go overtime. Racel again making his entry towards the VIP balcony, a very commonplace entry for him, and he, again, continues to make this rotate in from the bathroom by Hall of Fame into Hall of Fame, just to allow for easier angle assessment for anyone playing over inside of Penthouse. There was a man who looked like Enemy at the top of the theater stairs, but no, Enemy's in behind the bar. That's Blas, who's now rotated his way into theater. Wow, he did not last very long. Papilio was shred right through him, reading Blas like a book. And Blas was crucial last time around in holding this down. Enemy is taking a lot of damage behind the hookah bar as well. So this roam game that was so dominant and so cutthroat and so smothering last time around for Penta, basically done nothing but lose so far, and they're attempting a reset onto Enemy as he's being Jackal tracked downstairs as Hungary repeatedly picks up his Toxic Babe, whips it at Enemy in the groin area, and picks it right back up. Enemy set back to 50, still constantly on a Jackal ping, but NORA-RENGO know they have complete top control now, and this is what they didn't even have at any point last round, was confirmed top control. They're going to be awaiting a flank, most likely, but no one from Penta attempting to stretch out and acquire any more map control. The first set of phone calls will ring out, and this will signal the first stage of pushing towards a site execute for NORA-RENGO now. Got Hungary still inside of Cubby, waiting to be the real linchpin in this, as if his Toxic Babes cannot last throughout the end portion of the round, they're going to have a bad time trying to repel this plant attempt. The ceiling will now be destroyed above the Sunrise bar. That's currently where Sir Boss is playing once again, looking skyward to try and counteract any malicious force coming through those holes, and Hungary will get caught looking at the sky, staring into the stars, daydreaming away, and he gets killed for it. And there go those Toxic Babes, meant to repel the ingress of a push coming, but Sir Boss will at least trade out Waka in the process. Ravon still holding the bottom of Cool Vibe stairs, waiting for this push. And looks like Mario is being just unprecedentedly patient right now, up against some barbed wire, and take some shots from Enemy, and Ravon will win that, whipping out the shotgun. Now the ping's coming out, and he'll down off another one. Ramu will fall in succession, leaving it all up to Racel, firing in, but there's no time, there's no breach hole. He's gonna have to push through an open doorway into the waiting arms of three members of Penta as he gets zapped away by the Evil Eye on 2 HP. A great flick, take down the Evil Eye, but Penta will clean it, and we level at 3-3. Heading into the half, and if you're Penta, you feel good about that, but you also got to kick yourself, remembering that it could have been 4-2.
Absolutely, and that is really the way that it should have gone last time on Bar. You saw the much more patient defense that time. Yeah, they were maybe over-peaking a little bit, but that was in a 3v1 situation or 2v1. They weren't down to just the last man standing peeking necessarily. You saw the Maestro, for example, on his Evil Eye instead of over-peeking himself. And hey, why not peek with something that when it dies, you don't lose the round? That's the way to do it. So fantastic play by them to close it out with that 3-3. And last time there was a 3-3 on last map. Who won? Penta. Certainly could go that way. I don't know. I want to see how this first attack comes out from Penta to see if they have that confidence they had on Oregon. If they do, I honestly feel like this could be Penta's to a victory, something I was saying coming out of Oregon. It's looking fairly good for them. But I want to see NORA-RENGO with that confidence on their roams that we saw in Oregon. Whenever they, especially from Mariu and Waka, whenever they had that confident roam, their ability to play around the map, their ability to kind of stay in these vision holes that seem to come out sometimes from Penta, and they're droning and exploit that by just hiding in very good spots. If they can do that again, this could certainly be a close game, and I think it's definitely possible to see this particular map go into overtime just because of mistakes when it comes to droning, and whether or not that will lead to the, I would say, some unnecessary flanks coming out from them. But the IQ, I think, coming out here will help a little bit in terms of spotting some of the utility, but no one on the enemy team is going to be tractable. There's no pulse, there's no vigil, so they're not going to be able to out-spot anyone except for maybe anyone on their phones, I suppose. But there's no Dokkaebi as well to call anyone to bring that out, so very likely the Jackal's going to have to do a lot of that work outside of gadgets being spotted by Sir Boss.
Papilio will start things off hot onto Enemy, playing over inside of luggage. Looks like he was just repelling that entry into aquarium. That's exactly where the dead body will lie. As the drone will come out from Sir Boss, questioning, quizzical, what the hell happened? Well, you missed him on the drone. And you lose enemy for it. And it's Twitch, not the most crucial of operator as far as utility is concerned, but fragging power, that F2 will be sorely missed on the side of Penta, who are currently 4 rounds away from sending themselves to the main stage. I imagine they're going to want to try and take an aggressive route right now.
The most important thing I think about an early kill on an operator with a good gun like that is you slow down the attack. We saw how crucial that was for NORA-RENGO on Oregon. Anytime they got slowed down on that aggressive push with their attack, it tended to cost them the round. So hopefully enemy wasn't a huge part of the attack, because we still see at least a lot of the members of Penta pressing ahead regardless. But they're also getting into a lot of potential gunfights. The aggression very much coming out here from NORA-RENGO, and they're not being punished for it. I think, to me, that spells possible defeat for Penta. As not only they lost one player, they have another player at half health, and NORA-RENGO have not taken any damage in return. And again, they take down Blaz as well. This round's all but over for Penta.
Sir Boss rushing straight through to his death. If you're Penta, I gotta... Jeez.
I think they're excited.
You think so, eh?
I'm pretty sure that was a round of aggression working out for them, and that just leads to more shouting and less antlers and box faces.
It's funny because it's so late here and it's so quiet in here compared to how it is during the normal day.
Yeah.
That I can hear them in my left ear when they scream, as well as through the audio.
I can feel them at this point.
Oh yeah.
In terms of those screams.
It's pretty loud. Anyway, that round for Penta, yeah, just a missed drone assignment onto a guy hiding inside a luggage leads to a log jam inside of luggage later on.
What a surprise, like Oregon, missed droning. That seems to be what's costing Penta on their attacks. Maybe they need to spend less time playing aggression and just more time droning thoroughly. Maybe it's just whoever's doing the droning on the team should be tasked to something else.
Well, I hate to call any individual on a team out, but Sir Boss has had a pretty forgettable day.
Yeah.
It was his drone in showers that missed. It was his drone there in luggage that missed. He's been decent. I think he's like 50-50.
Maybe we should demote him to Sir Middle Manager at this point.
Hey, he's had a pretty forgettable day. So, gotta feel bad for him in that instance where he's just screwing up these simple assignments. He also, of course, was the maestro in that infamous
exactly.
1v2 with 0-0.
You already hear windows getting popped by enemy, so even if he dies this round, at least he got something accomplished. That's a great start during the prep phase to lose windows. Unfortunate. It does mean they have some time to adjust to that, I suppose, in terms of repositioning, but okay, better start. Maybe Sir Boss, won't mess up the droning this time. Blast did a good job finding a nice drone spot. In a classic ranked casual move, putting the drone on top of the bomb. Showing
If
us
it works, it works.
It certainly does. Even the Evil Eye, which could destroy it right now, isn't spotting it because Waka is too busy manually face checking and shooting. Had he jumped, if he jumped to the Evil Eye, I'm fairly confident he would spot and shoot that drone.
Well, unfortunately for Penta, they're not garnering much map control or dispelling much of this quite extensive roam game coming up from NORA-RENGO. I believe I see 3 blue silhouettes on the top floor currently. Ramu inside of office, leaving Waka alone on the objective, and I am correct in everything I just said, but now Ramu will make it back to kitchen, hallway-ish, dancing back and forth. So the deployment of personnel here for NORA-RENGO, quite interesting, as they stack 3 bodies upstairs and leave just Waka and Ramu alone on the objective.
I kind of wonder if Ramu, having lost one of his mirrors, just decides, you know what, I'm going to kind of run around a bit more, play more of a pain in the butt instead of more static on defense. And it's interesting that Waka, who'd previously been playing on the Legion, now switched over to a much slower role on the Maestro. So they're definitely changing things up a bit. But Ramu's got to be careful on this, not step up into that, but Racel, in the meantime, is going to fall. And it's just the castle, not the worst person to lose. But it's certainly not going to help your defense. However, they have burned almost 2 minutes on Rome, which is, I mean, to be fair, that's fine to lose one player doing so.
Well, that's Hungary going off on a solo mission before regrouping with the rest of his team, and that was a common theme we saw yesterday against the Scream from Hungary, is that he'd be sent off to do something that seemed nearly impossible, as enemy will claim another victim in Papilia, ripping through him with the F2, making it to survive through the majority of this round, and it's having a pretty good result. Waka has now also been down by an asphyxiating bolt in behind the bar. Mario will come in for the rescue mission, and a Nitro Cell will get tossed across but not connect on anyone on Penta inside of the blue bar. You can see they're all almost at 100 HP. Hungry will slap down another one in Ramu as he tries to retake the blue bar door. Mario now down at the rotates. Last man alive is Waka. Great shot onto enemy's head, but he's got 4 more to find and shot through that open mirror that was opened in prep phase. Serbos redeeming some of his mistakes and closing out the round. We are at a 4-4 scoreline once again. We head into round number 9 on a map, and either team can take this just within arm's reach, but you gotta think that Penta really has the momentum, considering if they don't completely botch the round last time and they win the round the first time they defended Blue Bar Sunrise, this is a completely different scoreline and looks dominating in the favor of Penta.
Well, unlike Penta, we're going to see NORA-RENGO actually repeat the bar right away and try it again. Because overall, I think they had an okay defense of it. But I got to say, Penta had a great execute, though, in terms of the smoke and the fire.
Penta was 7 milliseconds off winning that round.
Yeah.
NORA-RENGO was never close to winning that round. So
I mean, the reason I say that is, had they not lost the mirror, they would have been able to properly defend Blue Bar. And because you had Ramu trying to hide from that instead, right? He couldn't play aggressively because they didn't peek into situations. They know exactly where he's going to be peeking from instead of being able to use the mirror. So because they were able to suppress him properly, then they had the fire that took down Waka. Yes, Waka got picked back up, but that cost them time. Time they used to go for the execute with the smoke, as well as throw down the other fire that traps Waka into that one specific position.
10 seconds to go.
So it was down to not necessarily, I'm not saying NORA-RENGO had a great defense, I'm just saying Penta had a great execute that capitalized on any small mistakes made by NORA-RENGO. And I think, much like with Penta's defense on bar, they can look back on it, revise it, and do it successfully this time around.
Well, one revision they have made is Waka is no longer playing the Maestro. He swapped over to the Mute, probably in a direct attempt to combat enemy, getting his Twitch drone in there and completely screwing up the plan.
That'll do that.
So clearly, some reactions made on the side of NORA-RENGO.
To be fair, also, he had the Evil Eye in a room they didn't even bother to go in.
Yeah.
So.
Evil Eye set up, and they weren't really gathering much intel either. There wasn't, okay, there's a guy peeking me from outside. Okay, you don't need to peek that. You're good. That's all the information you need off.
They all spawn outside, so.
Again, with the roaming game, top floor right now for NORA-RENGO. I'm not sure about the deployment. Looks like there's still 3 upstairs, and there are 3 upstairs, 2 on the objective, 1 person per bomb site downstairs between, I imagine, Ramu and Waka again, as the deployment upstairs seemed to be pretty hard set last time from Nora.
It's funny, they get rid of the Maestro who had the Evil Eye in this room, and now Penta's going to attack this room. They've left so much of the wall soft, though. This castle barricade is only going to slightly redirect them, because Serbos has a lot of wall to go through. There we go. Nice timing, unfortunately, Scout. He doesn't find it the way through. Waka gets a free, not only Nitro kill, but a follow-up from his SMG-11.
Oh, Hungry in response will take down Ramu as he pushes in to Cubby. He has site control, but Penta well aware of the retake potential upstairs. Enemy will rip through Mario, another one of a member trying to retake. It's just Waka alone behind the Sunrise bar right now as far as the objective is concerned, but the diffuser is still stranded outside. Waka will grab a 3rd. Raysil with the 4th on the round from Nora. It's all up to Hungry now on 25 HP. In behind the Cubby, going point blank against a shotgun, twisting on the wind with no direction to go. Raysil just spamming through the floorboards, trying to find a bare connection out of pure luck. Total rotate over now to the Cool Vibes doors. He's trying to isolate and go for these 1v1s. And he knows he has Waka in behind the bar. He's not ESing. He just sees him for a moment, and I don't know what that was.
A 4K, that's what it was for Waka.
Waka with a 4K as NORA-RENGO will take the lead once again.
Well, gotta say, the switch up from the Maestro to the Mute, absolutely working. Now, of course, in the case of old Mute, maybe not as much, because he would have been stuck with the MP5, wouldn't have been nearly as effective. Obviously, would have just been more about denying some of that push. But overall, the shotgun and the Nitro Cell and the SMG-11 combo worked out quite nice because he got kills with each that round. So fantastic 4K by him, as diametrically opposed to him just getting knocked down and somewhat useless in the previous round. So like I said, small adjustments, maybe not as many mistakes. They absolutely make it work the second time around. So, you know, both teams now on their second time around, their second swing around on the bar have done just fine. But in that case, Penta didn't necessarily need to switch how they attacked it, but they did so. Some of that was mistiming the skeleton key, hitting it just the wrong time, but also a well-thrown C4 by Waka. The deployable shield also did a great job of keeping him alive, much longer than it would have otherwise, because I think the Jackal might have been able to get a pick on him earlier had that deployable shield not been there.
Very smart reaction from Waka in behind the bar to immediately launch the Nitro cell out as soon as that smoke bolt came out and he lost visibility. A lot of players in that situation probably just would have spammed the smoke or thought it was a bait. And honestly, that decision right there set the tone for the rest of the round for NORA to be able to bounce back. Second part of that is tacking on to what you just said about Penta not having to readjust their attack strategy. And that there was them clearly imagining that they've isolated a flaw in the NORA-RENGO setup and trying to exploit it for a much faster-paced, gut-wrenching round where you really want to throw it back in their face that, yeah, we are dominating you on this objective.
I honestly don't know if they would have had much more success even if Waka hadn't switched roles, because if you go for smoke like that, he would have had the evil eye right there to see right through it. I suppose the idea was that Buck with a skeleton key would have skeleton keyed, and while they would have been focused on looking at the smoke, he would have jumped over the bar with a skeleton key and taken down whoever was behind the bar. So I suppose it's not a bad plan, but it's still, the smoke itself wouldn't have done a whole lot in that case. It would have completely relied on Buck doing his job, which he unfortunately failed to do so due to timing. Ooh, that was a risky peek against the F2. I'm just waiting for the moment when enemy peeks us just correctly. So far, though, this ring around the rosy working in favor of the defenders.
It's just wasting a lot of time right now for Penta as enemy is just locked down in this engagement and not really ever present of any other initiative or mission to take, and that's kind of an issue right now considering he's flank hold, and his flank holding isn't doing a lot of flank holding right now. He's staring up at a window, and he's not really controlling the flow of the NORA-RENGO players, and hasn't been much of a nuisance either. Although we are only at the midway point, site execute is still a ways away. It's troubling, as you're going to have that guy in behind the desk for quite a long time.
This is what I was saying earlier about trying to flank that, right? When I was talking about the Clash pick.
Yeah.
Trying to flank is so hard because of someone doing exactly this. You cannot easily get in to hit the bathroom side. I mean, this is his job, is to try and do something about this lobby defense. And so far, what he's doing is, Waka just barely getting away with that.
Waka getting tapped from both sides now. Is Hungry will take a lot of damage in return as he was the one blasting the rest of Waka's life away. But now Blaz pushing in through Hall of Fame will most likely find the life of Mario, who will fall. And now, explosions atop the most common rotate on coastline, but Ravon and enemy bounce back with 2 strong kills, and now it's Waka who's out in the Roman main lobby. Will turn his attention back towards enemy, and Racel alone on the objective. Turning the corner, inches away from the other side of the wall, but firing blindly through the smoke was enough to down Officer Boss, and another one for Racel! Oh my! 2 consecutive shotgun kills, but he hits the deck in perfect line with the ACOG of enemies F2, and that'll be Penta again, equalizing. This back and forth match seemingly will never end.
It certainly is heading that direction. I suppose it's good that there's no draws, as someone eventually has to win. One way or another on this, we didn't actually get to overtime last map. It got right to the very last round before overtime. In this case, though, it's starting to look more likely because we saw a bit more of a swing on the other side when sides switched on Oregon, but we're not seeing that here. We're seeing this, again, like you said, back and forth, neither team wanting to play penthouse, just bar, kitchen, and hookah, and here's that hookah defense coming out. So will we see a very different attack here come out from Penta, or will it just be, again, that back and forth sort of thing happening? Hard to say. I mean, I would like to see some variety here on the push, but we have seen both attempts in terms of whether or not they're deciding to make plants from one side or the other, how they're pushing for their attacks. They do have the Capital, which I can imagine is combined with Hungry's Jackal to make sure they can smoke everything out. But that also depends on Blast to take out the Evil Eyes of Papillia so that it's not easily just seen through. Of course, the nice thing is it will smoke out the Black Mirrors, to make sure that he's not able to do anything from there. But it doesn't necessarily stop C4s from coming out to counter you. Also, something to keep in mind is Ramu can throw those Grishbot mines to potentially stop the defuse plant, knowing that they're going to plant on default spot, even through the smoke, because the smoke will cover him also throwing those out, because they're not running with the glass or anything on attack that can also see through smoke. So it could, you know, much as with holes, work both ways.
We find ourselves level for probably the 50th time in this matchup in this best of 3 on map number 2. Just a refresher for anyone who wasn't around, it was a 7-5 victory for Penta on Oregon, and now we find ourselves at a 5-5 near stalemate, back and forth. One team gets around, the other one responds right back with one of their own. So a 5-5 scoreline on Coastline, which is map number 2. This is the Group D and the overall group stage finale. This is the last game in groups. We have 7 teams who have qualified for main stage, as Mario will rip through Sir Boss. We have 7 teams in the bleachers. One of these teams will join the bleachers, and one of these teams will join the main stage crew. Sir Boss losing his life early, though, is not going to help things for Mario in behind the billiards bar, as this hookah billiards defense from Nora is a first for them, but not the first we've seen this game.
Well, if Sir Boss was the problem on droning, now at least he can watch drones that are left over from the other players, do some work from there. But the lost grenades are, I would say, the biggest problem of losing him now. While the Skeleton Key is very useful, especially if he was going to push from below, it's the grenades more than anything else that are the problem. There is a Jaeger, though, but I imagine they could easily take that out with quite a few flashbangs and other utility. Although I do wonder what enemy is carrying. Mario having some trouble standing still, it seems. There's the smoke.
Coming out from Ravon as the diffuser comes in hand. Mario taking a little bit of damage behind that bar now, and Waka will chew right through Hungary, though. A 5v3 for NORA-RENGO to hold out, and members of Penta just getting caught out. Solo missions not going well, as it was Sir Boss and Hungary both alone with no one in purview to attempt a refrag, and now we come into the dying minute of the round. Blaz will take down Ramu, and there goes enemy with another bounce back from the both of them. Taking down Waka, we level at 3v3, but no, Mario in response will drop Revan as he pushes out into Aquarium. Loss of diffuser control now for Penta, and a 2v3 for Blaz and enemy to work their way out of.
Well, the back and forth continues here. Mario is at half health, so this is a half a man advantage, but it's a Jaeger of all things, and they're definitely not something you want to test with in a fight. Blaz, however, still being alive could mean some aggression, but he doesn't have any breaches left, just flashbangs, which in the pinch, if there's no ADSs, will be enough to help him potentially win a firefight. Although now it's up to him to win all the firefights left against the last 3, and flashing himself, not going to help with that.
15 seconds
He's
remaining.
able to take down Papilia, though, who is also full blind, but no diffuser control and a full rotate down below. Looks like Raycell might have a Nitro Cell. Oh, prepped in the doorway, and it just misses. So there goes the only Nitro Cell that could have denied plant from below. Now, it looks like they do have a camera in sight, though, because they're shotgunning right below, and here comes Mario on the return. Match point for NORA-RENGO on map number 2. They are 1 round away from sending it to border. Penta on their back foot, but still have that 1 map buffer.
Well, if we continue the back and forth, unfortunately that means an overtime and not a win for either of these teams. But either way, so it either goes to overtime or map 3. So either way, this is definitely not close to over yet. But which way will it swing is the big question, because if it swings to overtime, then that's still a possibility that Penta closes out on map 2, and we do not see border. But again, even if we see border, that is a map that does favor Penta, so this is still continuing to potentially lead towards Penta. But NORA-RENGO just need to play this smart on their last defense here, and just not give away anything to Penta. Read into any aggression, let them come into you. Play your all advantages that you have, but I believe Penta, in the meantime, taking a tactical timeout to make sure they can take this to overtime and don't have to play border, potentially. So good use of that tactical timeout to make sure they do so, but still, it's going to be a tough battle. Waka, again, potentially considering the Maestro, which I know you can't see on your screen right now. I thought I'd let you know he is thinking about that. Something that didn't work out too great for him. I think a mute, which Ramu is currently on, did work out quite a bit better for him. You never know. Ramu actually going to switch, but maybe we'll 6-pick over to that mute. For a bar defense, again, like we said before, no one wanting to bother with Penthouse. There's that 6-pick. But Enemy also going to seek 6-pick of his own. Is it going to be over to Twitch to be able to potentially open up mirrors again, which will now be there? No, a Thermite pick. This is an interesting lineup from Penta, a bit different than what they've been running previously.
Curious decision, as the sites they've been attacking haven't required a hard breacher, as they haven't been bringing one at all, and they've been doing okay. Right now we
Well, this is a map you don't need one.
Right now we stand at a 6-5 split, actually, right now for the defender favor, which is the same as the scoreline.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
They've been back and forth, man, and Penta bringing the Finca as well, just, again, telegraphs to me that they're going to try and expedite things and bring a little more aggression. And man, are NORA-RENGO good at repelling the aggression, though. It's when, honestly, the best example of a round on attack from Penta for me is the first time they attacked this objective. Not the second time where they tried to bum rush it in through the Sunrise entrance. The first time where they played their progressions. First step, clear roam. Second step, watch flank. Third step, slight execute. By the time they were in step 3, it was a 5v2.
Yeah, and that was good utility usage as well with the smoke and the fire, leading to them actually pressuring for the execute rather than just slogging it out in gunfights. And that's the important thing, is to make sure that they were able to actually turn all those previous steps into that execute. But that requires having the time to do so, right? You've got to execute those previous steps with efficiency to have that left over. They have some utility to do so, but yeah, they're running a very different lineup. It just makes you wonder, is that going to work? Because I don't know what value they're necessarily going to get out of the Thermite in that, unless they're pressuring from the other side. But here we go. There's some boosts coming out to try and help speed up this execute. But it doesn't really lead to much other than shooting out a default cam. So I guess there's that. They've got all these castle barricades to just slow them down.
Yeah, and it's definitely a bluff of a defense upstairs right now. NORA-RENGO not expanding out for that map control this time around. The first time, like I said, it got dismantled with ease. The second time, it was crucial in providing a retake scenario because everyone at Penta just rushed site. So I imagine NORA-RENGO understanding the predicament they are in if they tried to go for a third attempt of 3 roamers topside. The last time they tried to retake is a proper take of this site. It did not end well, and Penta kind of blasted them into the stratosphere. And a Jackal ping for Enemy should pop up on the middle of the Lambo door unless it just expired, which is the most unfortunate thing in the world.
Oh, that Enemy could have had a free kill too, because he was at an angle, had it pinged that one last time. Probably would have been a free kill.
Probably would have completely domed him off the face of the earth, and that would have been a great start. Papilia has no actual clue how lucky the man is.
Yeah, that was a little risky being that close to the door with that ping. I think he was hoping someone was going to push him from the white stairs, which is what Blast is doing right now. Potentially, nope, he turns around. This is I would say this is working out very, very well for NORA-RENGO. Not in just that they have 5 people alive, but the amount of time burned was so little gained for Penta.
Penta seems so indecisive at even making a single move right now. Like, you've had office control for about 2 minutes.
They look confused, if anything else. What is this setup? What do we do about it? And there's something you can do about it, thankfully. But a little late to be getting anything done. You still lost half your health in the process.
20 seconds left.
Oh, man.
They're going to use the second Adrenal Surge. They all start soaring in. Ravon's going to get chopped up from the kill holes above. Rushing straight through. This might actually avoid the Nitrocell, but 3 kills for NORA-RENGO. Leaves Sir Boss and Hungry alone, and it's just Hungry trying to plant against the mirror wall. Barring the most incredible comeback of all time, which won't happen, ladies and gentlemen, we go to border.
Well, map 3 it is, and what I think we all saw coming. However, it is worth noting that neither of these 2 maps went to overtime. They all just went to exactly 12 rounds due to the back and forth, especially the 3-3 nature of the first half of. I mean, will we see 3-3 again on border to start things out? It's just, it's been interesting. I think excitement from NORA-RENGO.
Yeah, I can hear them.
Yeah, they are.
I can hear them. I can feel them right.
They are flipping out. I think they need a taiko drum in there to go with it as well, to just go with that screaming. Just the madness. If they could carry that into border, it might be shorter than we expect. Whew.
Well, a good response there from NORA-RENGO on Coastline. Honestly, that was, you can't get any closer than this as far as these games are concerned. It was, what, 7-5 on Oregon.
Yeah. I do feel like Penta defeated themselves in that last round. They picked a lineup that didn't necessarily match what they were going to be facing. And as soon as they hit that, just confusion set in. They didn't know what to do. You saw most of them rotating constantly. You saw the Thermite rotating around. You saw Blaz going back and forth, unable to decide where to go. Yeah, he got a kill out of it eventually. But at that point, we had, what, like 48 seconds left? It was just... And as soon as he finishes that, immediately hits a goo mine right after getting adrenaline boosted to cancel the adrenaline boost and slow him down right out of a sprint. So it was just... I mean, not to say it wasn't well played by NORA-RENGO, but I think Penta played themselves in that last round.
Penta had more than a couple rounds where they probably should have walked away with the win, and they beat themselves more than NORA-RENGO beat them. So, unfortunate ending there for Penta, as they were within arm's reach, and honestly, a finger's reach, of sending themselves to the playoffs, to getting out of group stage, to going to the main stage. And yet, we now find ourselves on map number 3 on Border.
Well, I think so far we've proven the function of the losers bracket isn't to determine who the losers are. It's to determine which teams are going to have a rematch.
Yep.
Because that has been a very consistent function of them to show the two most balanced teams. Because the teams that are having the rematch are the teams that seem to be the closest match together. And that makes sense. You think about it, right? Because that means one team barely eked out a win, but was sent back down because they were more evenly matched with the team down in the losers bracket. It does mean, of course, eventually one of those teams does make it out of the losers bracket. So it is not that first one is not the important one. It's that second win in the losers bracket that determines who goes forward. And it is unfortunate for the person who might have won that first time. If they're not the one to win that second time, they go home.
Well, the first matchup between these two teams also went the distance on 3 maps and was somewhere in the range of about 35 to 40 rounds.
Yeah, thankfully
which is
no
nearing
overtime.
the maximum. Yeah, no overtimes yet, but we are now at 24 rounds through 2 maps.
Yeah.
Carry that over, we're looking at 36 through 3. So we're looking for more close action. We will be right back, though, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to need a quick break to get everything set up. Border, map 3, the final map of the group stage on the other side of this break.
Yes, I made it a habit to play a couple of Tians before a match, and I usually eat some chocolate as well before. Enemy always makes jokes about basically everybody in the team. I would say hungry, because whenever he gets the chance to use his phone to listen to music, listen to loud music, it's very annoying. I started playing in year 1, season 2, and the teamwork and the competitiveness made me addictive to Siege, and I very quickly realized that it will become an esport game. I definitely prefer tea, but sometimes I drink an energy drink. I like the taste, but it's not good for the body. So, well, gonna spend some for the celebration, and the rest is for savings. I think they're powerful because they're really good at fragging, and that's why I think they're showing up.
My name's Paddy Hall, and I am a community fan artist within the Siege community who goes by the name Sausage. For me, it's like that I sort of achieved my goal. To be featured at an event is just a very, I guess, humbling experience. I'm incredibly grateful. All the people who have supported me, I really do owe it to them. Paints a picture of just how passionate people are. I feel like we live in times where people are very isolated. So it's really nice that it brings people together and we can just talk about why we love the game.
Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the conclusion of the 6th Invitational 2019 Group Stage. This will be map number 3 between NORA-RENGO and PENTA.
Woo!
A game that just wants to keep going back and forth. 7-5 win for PENTA on Oregon, a 7-5 win for NORA-RENGO on Coastline. We head to Border to round things out. And like I said a couple times now, one team heads to the bleachers to join the other 7 that have been relegated. And one team will join the other 7 on the main stage for Friday, possibly Saturday, possibly Sunday's games.
Yeah, a lot of games yet to be played, but we will at least have a one-day break between the end of this and those playoff stages. But either way, this is the last of it to decide that. So it is very important, of course, to decide whether or not you have what it takes to continue those group stages, because if you do, you are just setting yourself up for more matches to play. You don't just get the relief of, I'm done now, I won. No, it's I get a day off and then back to work. And the rest of you get to sit around watching, which is its own kind of benefit, I suppose.
Yeah, we still got to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get one day off and we still got to work, but
it's not work.
It's long. That's what it is.
It certainly is.
Honestly, just the back and forth nature of these two teams,
yeah.
It's hard not to say how closely matched they are. They are unbelievably close, and wow, I was not actually expecting that. Yeah. So NORA-RENGO currently holding a 4-0 undefeated record on Border. And it was NORA-RENGO against PENTA on Border, in which Waka decided to go out and have a lot of fun with some runouts.
Yeah, I must have looked at the stats backwards, either that or maybe we have this play backwards, because that was the opposite of what I had and why I was saying it was so PENTA favored, in that I had the stats as 4 wins for PENTA. But either way, it is a good map for both teams.
Someone's undefeated and has a lot of wins on Border.
Yeah,
that's all we know.
Both teams want to be here. They wouldn't have let it through. So I guess that is the important conclusion to be made from that. But we'll see.
6 seconds, all I hear is some of those players back there screaming for all they're worth.
You know, with it being the end of the night like it is all about channeling as much energy as possible. So you don't want to slack here, right? You don't want to give up an inch, and well, I suppose screaming is going to help with that. Whether that be screaming in pain and hoping for it to end, or screaming for the aggression to come out and tear someone a new one. There we go. Kalaz getting banned next. And we'll see what it's going to be coming up after that for the first defensive ban.
So it looks like doing some checking there, the overlay was reversed. It is PENTA currently with a 4-0 record on Border.
So we'll see if that continues here. Echo going off next. I suppose we could see a chance of a Maestro going as well, but more than likely going to be Valkyrie, I suppose. Although there are some other options. There it is. So the Habana going is interesting considering how much thermite is useful on every bomb site. So I'm not sure what Ram is referring to with the Waka ban. Unless that is he's saying that is a ban against Waka, which I suppose would make sense. That was PENTA with the last ban there.
It was Waka playing Valkyrie. It was Waka playing Valkyrie the last time these two teams played on Border, and Waka just kind of had a field day. Yeah. Just ran.
It's been a good operator for him. But Mary was also trying to play a bit of Waka's roles. It seemed like they want to switch back and forth, but not on this particular attack, as Waka jumps back on the role he'd been letting, where you play and then 6 picks off of it. Mary, you're going to be picking up the buck instead, and then enemy going to be pulling out the dock. We'll see if we see any spawn peaks come out of that. Could be an interesting way to set things to an interesting tone at the beginning of the round as we start on Army Lockers Archives. No surprise there, as that is almost always going to be the bomb site to start with, although there are definitely teams that do think Vents is okay, although I feel like that is strayed away from more and more teams that have even done that, still going back to Army Lockers for the primary. Nothing else too unusual on the defensive lineup. Attacker lineup has pretty much all the utility. Again, not sure that they were going to get much mileage out of a Habana anyways. So, I guess maybe if they thought that was going to be an issue for them, just because, like I said, thermite so much more useful, but it does prevent a double heart breacher setup.
10 seconds to go.
Does indeed. I'm also interested that they've only reinforced one wall on Trip, and they've also reinforced Sandwich Wall, which is fascinating. but it provides you some
I guess it's
buffer.
some ability to play that corner against the window, I suppose, but you're certainly exposed to Buck just opening up that back wall. And it looks like they are going for an opposite side potentially, which means Buck is very likely to be ripping that corner open as soon as he feels inclined to do so with that skeleton key. Meantime, though, Waka looking to see if he can find any gadgets that want to disappear from existence. And no batteries to be found there, so no mute jammers as well. Might get away with his drone not getting shot, but it is very likely to be short for this world.
Also interesting that Amira is allowed through the ban phase on border. That's also not common these days. And no Mira being played. The armory wall is unreinforced. It's been a little bit of a pattern lately for some reason.
Yeah.
With a lot of these border games, is there's one reinforcement on the armory wall and the second one just kind of doesn't exist.
Well, it's a question of whether or not they were expecting NORA-RENGO to bend the Mira. If they were, then maybe they were like, oh, well, we already have our strats, built around that. Fortunately, Waka cannot seem to make his drones really do too much for him. Or at least he's going to try and take control of CCTV. Serbas, good creative use of a deployable shield in a way you don't usually see being used to open up part of the lower part of the wall, fight through here. Maybe that's why they didn't fully reinforce that, but there's a great two-piece coming out there from NORA-RENGO.
Mario and Waka both going to find kills as they continue to press and clear out office. That's Ravon, an enemy dispatched of. One playing in behind Fountain and one playing in Sandwich. Mario doing some work from down below. So we head back up to the trip wall take. It's the triple stack on trip wall for NORA-RENGO, and concussion mines will detonate, disorienting Serbas, currently on the floor, his chest on the ground, waiting for someone to push him through Fountain.
It's certainly going to happen here soon as they're starting to clear ADSs and set up for this, using the lifelines, getting rid of the evil eyes. So ready for this push. But I gotta imagine Penta are equally ready, just with less players available to do so.
NORA taking their time here. I mean, they still do have a 5v3. Waka's made it up to the top of metal stairs, and joining him is Mario not far behind. We now approach 30 seconds and we still haven't cleared out Fountain if you're NORA-RENGO. Not exactly sure where the push is headed, and Hungry will take down Mario, but Ramu on a tray will drop Blaz, so down to a 4v2. Lots of damage taken to Ramu as he's again rotating back and forth. NORA-RENGO seemingly very indecisive as to where they even want to push in. Acquiring site control will be Ramu. This pushes in through the backside of Archives. Oh, bad push in there from Waka and Ramu down to a 1v2. The plant is still not going down with 4 seconds remaining. Finally, Racehill, but Pilia on low HP is the cover for that. Plant is going down in Archives, I imagine, as we whip and turn back in behind the bomb, and Pavilia is run off to Narnia, as Racehill will cover from inside of Fountain. 1v2 here for Hungry to work his way out of. He's got one prone hitting the deck in Fountain. He's going to fashion himself a quick little rotate, and he's going to find out that the diffuser has been planted in behind the desk as opposed to the far side of Archives. Crossing will be an easy lockout there for Racehill as NORA-RENGO salvage a round that was heavily in their favor to begin with. They almost threw it completely away.
I gotta say, the big thing that didn't work out for Penta there was most of their most of the hits on NORA-RENGO weren't finished off. You saw how much damage most of the players had taken, but that was it. They weren't finished off. That left enough of them left alive. They did push a little sloppily right into Hungry himself, though. It looked like they were meaning to try and push at the same time, but one vaulting through the window just ahead of the other one going for the flank ultimately cost them. They just did not have the intel on them. Might have just been due to lack of drones, as the Twitch player did lose both of the drones early on. Wasn't able to drone around to find out whether or not there was anyone in there. But Hungry at the same time lacked tons of intel on his own. You saw him sitting up rotate after rotate with those impact nades without knowing where that diffuser was even set. He thought it might have been set behind him, then he thought it might have been set in the corner of Archives. Just did not have any idea what was going on. Just complete lack of intel from his teammates. Some of that was due to the evil eyes being destroyed, but they also had no other way to provide any intel because, well, Echo is banned, Valko's banned, and they didn't have any, mirror windows or anything. So, well done by NORA-RENGO in capitalizing on that lack of information against Hungry, and ultimately he had nothing really to do but walk into a trap at that point. We'll see, though, how this defense gets set up this time in terms of whether it's going to do anything extremely significantly different, but the clash to defend Fountain is something that has been successful in the past. And if NORA-RENGO are not prepared to deal with it, it could be a problem. But they've got both the Capital and the Zofia, which should make short work of it. Not to mention that can work combined with Waka's grenades to get thrown around there. So they have a lot of utility, provided they can clear out the ADSs. Definitely could be the end for Enemy if he doesn't play it smart.
Seen Enemy playing a lot of Clash lately, ever since the update to the SMG9 going full auto, so it's been a commonplace tactic here for PENTA to try and slow things down, and honestly, last round it didn't seem like NORA-RENGO needed any help slowing down. They did that a lot by themselves. It's so strange to see the indecisiveness about where they wanted to push, what side they wanted to push from. They spent over half the round clearing out Office. They could have pushed in and cleared the guy Fountain and had complete Office control. And then all of a sudden it's a 4-man rotate to the Armory wall, and then 2 people are coming back over to Archives with 10 seconds left. It's a baffling decision for NORA-RENGO, and honestly it shouldn't be that hard for PENTA to pick apart and capitalize upon the next time they falter like that.
Well, this time they're really looking to stall things out as much as possible on the opposite side with that clash. Just play it back, slow them down, and play into that indecision when they don't necessarily know how they want to play it. They are not really doing much, though, to deal with Waka downstairs, who's just kind of getting to run freely, although the hatch getting open there is certainly going to make him wonder what's going on and force him to use a grenade to try and do something about it. Might do I was going to say a bit of damage, but instead deletes Hungry from the game. That is a big play, because Hungry was the one thing that tried to stop them last time. He is no longer going to be there, nowhere there to throw those smoke canisters to slow things down. So Enemy now, along with Blaz, going to have to be a big part of this, as Sir Boss is already getting picked apart, and Waka now free to rotate around. But a minute left, and they have yet to make those decisions. Ramu, though, crossbow bolt, going to finish off one, but needs to use it the other one on Clash, and he's getting a bit slowed down to do so.
Losing a lot of damage in that engagement from Ramu and not really dealing much back. Ramu, though, will finally get picked apart by Revon, and a flank coming out from Enemy into CCTV as the clash. Slow going, but he will turn his head towards 2, and that will be 1 falling at his hands. It'll be Waka collapsing in pain, and Blaz will respond back with Papilia. It's Gravestone. Thermite charge being placed up by Rachel as he's alone. Mario has completely abandoned him, so they're in separate 1v1s as Mario's in the middle of the objective, and Racel just trying to push in through Radio Desk. Finally peeks his head up, and Blaz will rip him apart. Trying to flick for 2, and Blaz will collect all the heads of NORA-RENGO. And again, this whole round from NORA-RENGO is so baffling. What is with the separation and the last-minute rotations coming out from Nora?
They don't seem to have a coordinated way to deal with it, and I think while they probably made some adjustments mentally after the last round to what they were going to do that round, the clash definitely threw them off, because not only was it a pain for them to deal with, it got away, flanked around, and got the kill into Waka even. Because of that, it was definitely just them struggling to do anything about it. The fact that they also didn't do anything about the Maestro, and then, as you said, separated to try and set up for it. They thought they were clearing out. It looked like they thought, okay, we're going to be pinching, right? We're going to pinch on the Archives. We've got the flank around. Yes, we lost Waka, but we still managed to take lockers. We're going to push that towards the Archives from one side. Thermite's going to open up the wall on the other. We're going to then have it clear to plant at the desk, was the plan. But not stopping the Maestro pretty much destroyed the possibility of that plan working, because Thermite was not going to be able to win that fight against Maestro unless he just snapped right to the base. Certainly didn't happen because he didn't have the intel to help with that. So either way, though, it took them 2 tries to win that. Now they're going to go back down to, or going to go down to Vents. I'm kind of curious what their third bomb site's going to be this time. Is it going to be Customs? Is it going to be Bathroom Tellers? But of course, if they don't succeed on this bomb site here, then, well, they don't necessarily have to go to a third bomb site. But I think it's likely, considering the back and forth nature of these two teams. Slight bit of damage done to Blaz, which might have been from an impact nade, potentially, or even a goo mine being thrown errantly. Well, that's never a good way to start a round.
NORA-RENGO want to bounce back on that one. They're probably going to have to at least make sure they're not abandoning Racel, who's been their diffuser and breach main. it's happened consecutive rounds now where Racel is alone trying to complete a task with no coverage, and he's not exactly in the best position to be doing something like that, considering he is your breach player carrying your diffuser. You want to protect him, keep him alive, keep him integral to your push, as the pushing power needs to be with the diffuser, not on the opposite side of the objective. So NORA-RENGO really need to reassess what their push is going to be on every site, and what their mentality is as far as when they get that separated, how do they regroup and not waste the whole round doing it.
Well, this time at least Mario is with Racel, but again, if one of them dies, chances are Racel will be left alone if it's Mario. If it's, I suppose if it's Racel that dies, then Mario will just pick up the diffuser and be alone himself. So yeah, either way, they are pushing in with the diffuser in hand. And in this case, at least they're not pushing towards the bomb site just yet. They're just going to be setting up to open up some angles, try and take the top floor as quickly as possible. Hopefully, they can do so without burning up a full 2 minutes. Maybe you can get some kills along the way, which will give them enough time to start to execute as they start to open up the floor with the buck. Wouldn't be the worst position to be in, but they've got to do so without losing a lot of men up top as well, because there generally is casualties in doing this.
It's a 3-man hold topside for Penta over by the armory side right now. All 3 stacked in there, and it seems like NORA-RENGO have done their due diligence, at least controlling archives and getting the wall open in to do so. And Elysia Mine will be found out rather immediately. And okay, here comes Waka ripping straight into ventilation door and dispatching of enemy. There's only 1 man left on site, and that's Revon, stuck at the server rack in the midst of workshop. Apilia taking a lot of damage though, with Penta in full force to retake. Revon though, dispatched up by Ramu, a run out coming up from Blaz. He goes for a rotate. There is no one left on the objective for Penta. It's Sir Boss and Blaz to attempt a full-on retake, and it's a 1v5 now for Sir Boss, moving his way down metal stairs as Racel will complete the plant. Moving straight out on a pre-fire is Waka, collecting on some shots, and finally putting Sir Boss in a grave. Much better job at that time from NORA-RENGO, at least at staying together and understanding what the whole push was going to be.
Well, not only that, but Waka did a good job on his own of penetrating downstairs. As you said, it was a 3-man hold upstairs, so him getting in and taking out one of the defenders downstairs and then potentially putting pressure on the other, put it in a situation where they were forced to kind of either take fights upstairs and just hold it off or start to rotate down, and that just lack of ability to have downstairs control really threw a monkey wrench in Penta's defense, because they think, what do we do at that point? You can't really make a good decision. You're just going to have to take whatever you can, use whatever intel you have left to try and play off that, to try and play for kills. But no one killing Waka, no one punishing him for him hanging out down there. At that point, you're pretty much, I mean, I hate to say it, screwed. There's just not a lot you can do to stop anything. Because even as you rotate down, you saw exactly what happens. You still get killed. But they are going to go to customs, despite the fact they did not have to. We'll see if this works out any better for them. But this, again, just like Vents, is going to be a split defense, because they've got to hold CCTV and downstairs, whether that be holding someone from the workshop, or that be holding a lot of people inside the actual passport check or jail. However they're going to do it, they are going to be split up.
Well, we continue this godforsaken back and forth trend. No one has been able to get any momentum in this game whatsoever. It has just been round, back and forth, and back and forth. Honestly, if you're either one of these teams, you gotta be exhausted at that. Just never having any breathing room. Every round is a difference maker. Well, and it's also, you know, approaching midnight on the East Coast here, so we're getting close to about 16, 17 hours spent inside this building alone for a lot of these players and a lot of the coaches as well.
At least they're celebrating every victory with screams on both teams, and that's the way to keep your adrenaline up.
I'm impressed they still have the energy to scream at all.
Sometimes you just got to do it anyways. You just got to scream out your tiredness. It's like auditory coffee.
That is something you could do. Waka pulling up the Ash charge as he rips right into Archives. NORA-RENGO again continue their east-west push, and I was interested that NORA-RENGO didn't want to push over all the way into Armory and contest this hold last time. It looks like enemy has been spotted out. Wow, there's a lot of soft destruction inside of... Oh! Bait. Kill holes in the floor, and Hungry from down below will rip through Waka. It was actually the bottom of metal stairs, it seems like, but now contesting inside of lockers, and there goes enemy in a trade out from Papillia. Now the 2-man CCTV hold is what remains as the next objective for NORA.
Nice kill on Waka, though. That's really going to slow things down, because he did a great job using Castle Barricade to work on it in his own favor, doing enough droning to get ready for that kill, and he definitely would have accomplished it, but Mario, oh.
Back and forth once again, and Blaz in behind circle monitors will get one before being immediately traded out. Can you sense a pattern? Although the other man upstairs, I believe it was Sir Boss, has dropped back down the cubby hatch into the safety of the objective and will remain on site in this drone.
Oh, nice
spot him out. Nice angle right above, and he's going to keep that there, Papillia will. As he hops off. He's looking to try and find a way to get that kill. You can't get that angle from the hatch, unfortunately, and Elysian Mine will provide a little bit of a scare here for Papillia as he watched his teammate die to Hungry looking through some kill holes in the floor, and they don't want to replicate that.
I like that Hungry reinforced the barricade on that window just before the wall blew to give a little bit of buffer there, which of course Ramu took down, but either way, it was a smart play. It gives him a little bit extra time and 35 seconds left as Papillia finally gets the first lead here for NORA-RENGO in this match, or in this particular round.
One set to drop to the hatch as Ravon cycles all the way over to the front door, looking into these kill holes at Canadian spot, and a vault in coming in from Raysil now. Flashbang's coming out, he's looking to put down the diffuser. An impact to go for the quick rotate, but on the ground it's Ramu inside of detention. Pre-fires from Sir Boss will at least claim one victim in Ramu on a trade, but a 1v2 to work out of on very low HP. Still has a nitro cell in hand, which could be beneficial if anyone steps inside his purview or maybe on the floorboards above him from CCTV where someone might be playing, but looks like Sir Boss is preoccupied with other intentions, and it's a rappel upside down right now. I believe this is from Papillia, as Sir Boss is going to try and stick this in the corner, and he'll fall off, hearing the telltale signs of that M762 ring out. And it'll be bells of death ringing in his ears. Papillia will clean things up, and once again, trades back and forth and back and forth.
Well, this time at least it's a lead for NORA-RENGO. They're not trading back and forth on these rounds in the sense that it is now a 3-1. Finally, a decent lead for a team here as NORA-RENGO's screaming continues to help them.
Continues to fill our eardrums as well, all the way over to the casting desk.
I don't know about you, Flynn, but it's pumping me up, okay?
Oh, yeah? Yeah?
I want to hear that screaming.
Getting right hyped up, aren't you, bud?
Yeah, but that's all the screaming I'm going to do before I kill my voice again.
All right. Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Probably. Smart.
We got plenty more games to cast after.
Yeah.
So.
Luckily, there's a day break between them to make sure that I can then scream on the weekend instead.
There you go.
Nice 6th pick, though, from Waka, who's going to play something a little bit different this round. I got to imagine he knows they're likely to be going back to lockers because they just played vents and customs. So bringing out the Ying seems like a smart play. I got to imagine then that is most likely going to be them pushing for locker side rather than going through offices, though. Offices is definitely something they struggled with. So seems like, well, that is probably the right adjustment. Do not try that anymore because they seem to be able to continue to adjust to it. This time they're not going to be bringing the clash for that, though. Enemy instead going to be on the dock like he was the first round when they succeeded on it. So, I mean, I hope for NORA-RENGO's sake, though, they pretend like they want to go to the opposite side a little bit just to get them to all kind of set up on that side before, you know, opening the wall with Raysil, throwing the Candelas in, and just making a real party of it, because there is a bandit you have to deal with, and there isn't the buck this time, but Papillia could absolutely go below, take out the bandit batteries, and if he's over on the other side focusing, thinking they're going to be on offices, that could easily offer the opportunity of no bandit tricking for Raysil to open the wall. But it does come down to a little bit of mind play, which doesn't look like they're really doing.
Well, the diffuser most likely will dictate where this push will go, and carrying the diffuser once again is Raysil, and you can see the amassment of NORA-RENGO members as Papillia just immediately jumps into CCTV with not a lot of check and warning, but hey, it works out for him as he doesn't die because of it. Ravon now with the cardiac sensor, trying to provide some information for Sir Boss to take some pot shots at the door. That's actually Blaz downstairs with Ravon. All these spaghetti uniforms screwing me up. If
they see that, though, then they know for sure no bandit tricking. And if they can manage to take out those batteries without getting killed doing so, he is probably not going to be able to get upstairs to do anything to stop Raysil from opening. But that does mean they are likely to not get the plant down without taking care of that pulse.
A bomb has been located.
Hungry heard the rappel coming up from Mario on locker sandwich window, and here comes the thermite charge from Raceville, and it will go uninterrupted. As Loss is downstairs as the bandit, and Hungry wasn't in a position to impact trick the wall, which is something we've seen a couple times this weekend or week already. Drones again coming out from Waka to reestablish that no one is playing half wall, and there will be someone inside the small office, but locker sandwich window should have this locked down as all three defensive members of Penta seem to be locked in their nice little cubes as Candela's being prepped to push in through this tiny little hole into the small office, whipping out a Toxic Babe and reciprocation. Won't do much in return though as far as damage, just slow down the NORA-RENGO insertion into the objective. Another one comes out and there go all the Candelas, but it's enough to push back. Ramu grabbing 2 quick kills though, and Raceville planting on the opposite side of the reinforcement from Hungry, and he'll pull off. Most likely anticipating a Nitro Cell coming out, and there was one, but it still will claim the life of Raceville all the way off on the right-hand side. Fascinating that it reached that far. Now Enemy and Hungry both directly contesting this wall. NORA-RENGO being rebuffed slightly is also Ravon has returned back to site. A Doc Stim pistol to boost Hungry back up to 100 HP, and a rotation coming out from NORA-RENGO now. Ravon wins it out through the soft wall onto Papilia down to 5 HP. Pulling out the cardiac sensor, identifying that there is another one ready to claim his life in a heartbeat. Mario though will dispatch of Enemy on the opposite side, leaving Hungry alone inside the small office, and a 5 HP Ravon to fall in the hands of Waka. Hungry in a 1v3 grabs one right through the wall onto Mario. 1v2 reloads the SMG, pre-aiming to the wrong spot. Ramu will rip him apart. It's a 4-1 lead for NORA-RENGO, and you hear their screams abound.
I think at this point, the screams are not even just so much to pump them up. That is going to be there to intimidate Penta, because that is probably the most significant lead we've seen so far as last 2 maps, ended in a 3-3 halfway through. So this is looking pretty good for NORA to potentially close it out, but they need to not get ahead of themselves. That was a little bit of a sloppy take. They really got stalled out. I appreciate that Waka was patient in using 1 Candela at a time, but Hungry seemed on top of it, stalling out each one with the smoke, and then of course them running right into a C4 afterwards because they didn't take care of anyone prior to starting that attack. They had no kills, they didn't control the sandwich window properly, they had drones on the position, so that was good, but just their inability to execute from there. However, they won enough gunfights after that to leave it to just Hungry to try and stop it. Of course, I think great play by Revan though, getting up to where he was. He just didn't win his gunfight, and that was really ultimately his own fault because he just didn't capitalize on it with the right timing. We'll see though a little bit of indecision coming out from Penta as they go into their timeout. Because, well, yeah, you gotta be stopping the bleeding right now. There are no more maps to play unless you win and go into the weekend, because this could be where it all ends for Penta, especially if NORA-RENGO can keep this lead up, because they are looking very strong. The yelling's still full volume. That is where they want to be, and we could potentially see 2 APAC teams going into the quarters. I think they're still screaming.
They're still screaming.
They're still
I
screaming.
don't know if the microphones picked that up. I doubt it, but they are still giving it all they're worth right now.
Waka is going to be 6-picking the opposite direction this time. He's going to bring that buck back, and they're going to go to try and attack this armory lockers again, but I do wonder, will they be going to the office side or not? Because they brought the Ying last time to go from the locker side. But I wonder, if they're going for the opposite side again, that failed pretty miserably. Even when they managed to win, it was just eking out a win at that point. More so due to just flukes rather than solid strats. Ramu there was no rehost this map, so you can see the legit stats. Ramu is definitely coming on strong for being the new player on the team. Waka, of course, as well with a 6. Not unexpected as all. Raceville, unfortunately, getting the short end of the stick many of the times, as you said, separated from his team. Going to be down there at 1, but that is not terribly unexpected for the Thermite. Just trying to get the ball to the touchdown zone.
Attackers recovered the bomb.
We'll see if Enemy on that dock can punish a bit more than he was on the Clash. They do have the Bandit to be able to slow things down. Looks like they are, again, potentially going for an opposite side take. Waka going to try and potentially get underneath and soften things up from below, or even just go up to open up the wall first and then make that rotate. Hard to say how he's going to approach this. But Buck, generally very useful for doing what he's likely doing right now, which is just popping this wall right open in offices. But I think he's concerned about a run up here on it first, waiting for the drone to come out instead. First 2 drones coming out before he goes to open this nice little corner. I like that they're waiting patiently for the right timing to do this. Coordination. They're not getting too sloppy despite them being ahead of points.
If you're Penta, you gotta feel like you're in a bit of a hole here, obviously down 3 rounds, but not only that, that is the widest margin on all 3 maps in this series.
You'd think that'd be the hardest thing to do with the getting tired, but then maybe it's just Penta getting tired first. I mean, you gotta imagine though, of all the teams coming from the farthest, it is going to be NORA-RENGO, I would think, would be coming from a much farther distance, although I suppose it could be coming from the other direction, but it still seems like it would be quite a bit farther.
Geography is hard.
It certainly is. It's not
Geography is hard at this hour.
Uh-oh, looks like there could be a drone issue for Waka. Pretty sure it's too late in the round to do anything about a rehost.
Spectator. No, that's spectator.
Yeah, it certainly could be a spectator thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunate for us.
I doubt he'd stick on that drone that amount of time.
He wants to see if it's going to resolve, okay? As do we.
Well, rip us being able to see what Waka's drone was seeing, but Blaz and Waka will trade blows back and forth, and neither finding a fatal blow. Leaving the deck inside a fountain as well as Sir Boss as he's awaiting the ingress from Miryu. Pulled up in behind radio desk window, and his ADSs have been expended. The stun canisters will ring out and connect, but again, NORA-RENGO not pushing on that conversion of utility, and it seems like a giant waste at that point.
2 smoke canisters have already been used, surprisingly, this early into the round. Not really.
Frag grenade coming out from Waka will land and push Sir Boss back, and also a thermite charge had been taken care of and will not detonate, but it's 2 quick kills, 3 quick kills now for NORA-RENGO. It's all down to Ravon and Hungary as the skeleton key from Waka will completely eviscerate that archives wall, and everyone from NORA-RENGO, again, after going for one of those weird flexing rotation segments, and Waka fell through the hatch. But still, we'll start getting the plant down, and oh, what a shot by Hungary while stunned, but plant goes down. Revon with a nitro cell will level things closer. But Waka still has bottom control. Hungary and Revon pressed right up against each other. Ramu rip right through the pulse, so leaving Hungary alone once again in a clutch situation. He will fall. NORA-RENGO 2 rounds away from the grand stage and being the 2nd APAC representative.
You talked before about how some of the previous matches looked like it was all on the shoulders of Hungary, the very tall shoulders, but it's looking a lot like that again here on Border. Hungary, not only the last man left alive, seemingly sometimes the only man seeming to do really anything to stop the onslaught coming on from NORA-RENGO, but it's always too little too late, partially because he is in a situation where he's going to live the longest, but he also honestly looks like he's playing the smartest of them. You saw that flick, the kill he was managing to get, the smoke canisters doing what they can, but it's just the rest of his team not holding their own. Waka trying to keep these things interesting here on their first defensive round here of lockers. It will be interesting to see if they pull that off, because Penta, I gotta imagine a little dismayed at this point at where things are. Might just get sloppy enough to walk right into what is a very, very welcome map coming for them.
I like that one. Well, Penta now in an even deeper hole than we've ever had in this best of 3 series still, as it widens a little bit larger and their rope begins to shorten that they have remaining. 2 rounds are all it takes for NORA-RENGO to cement themselves as the final team to make it in to the Invitational 2019 playoffs.
5 seconds to go.
Well, I guess I was talking about that all being on the shoulders of Hungary, so what's Hungary gonna do? He's gonna fall on old Reliable and bring out the Candela disco balls. Let's try and make this a party that might bring it back just a little bit longer. But I gotta imagine if NORA-RENGO are smart, which, well, they have 5 rounds proving they are, will likely anticipate that potential play, which of course that is most likely to be pushing from the locker side. Is it just not as fun when you try and bring in it through offices? But if anyone could pull it off, I imagine it still could be Hungry. Bringing in that side, as you could still potentially throw it over the top of the wall into archives, as well as onto the other side of fountains to be able to blind quite a few players because of those little arches that you could throw things through. Blast in the meantime looking to see if he can clear out downstairs along with Hungry. Interesting. There's a lot of people downstairs. This is very odd for an attack top floor. How many people you see downstairs right now, and not all of them can do a whole lot from below. Pretty sure Hungry can't use those Candelo's cluster style from below, so he's gonna rotate up, thankfully. But I am confused as to where this is going.
Good night.
Whoop, nope, no disco balls coming out now.
Wow,
All right.
Raysil's going to tack on, taking down Sir Boss. Things going downhill in a hurry for Penta. Already in a two-man deficit, down 5-1 on the final map. Get in the playoffs, the Invitational. Waka rotating as that Frost with the C1 towards Bookshelf inside of CCTV. And you've still got Papilia playing at 90 inside of CCTV, looking down towards top east. And he's going to be a constant nuisance until someone on Penta can persuade him to get off that incredibly powerful angle, the side of mirror.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with 1:10 left, which would normally be enough time if you had all 5 people alive, not going to be very great, especially when you lose the one thing that was going to help you with that first, which is Capitao. Mary, at least on low health, as is a little bit with Raysil, but Blaz is going to have to do a ton of heavy lifting to make sure the enemy can be somewhat impactful. It's not looking to happen, though. I feel bad, but Penta, good night, sweet prince. It's over. It is now down. The screams will only increase. I can only imagine.
Kizoku knows what I'm thinking. One more round, ladies and gentlemen. NORA-RENGO versus Penta coming down to this. It's either the most immaculate run back of all time. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised if we see it coming from Penta.
Yeah.
Or NORA-RENGO will cement themselves as the second APAC team in the playoffs. It's all going to start one round at a time here for Penta. They might be able to build this back, but one crucial note to make. When they went down 4-1, they used their TAC timeout. They no longer have any stoppages of time. This ball will continue to roll.
Don't worry, in about 4 minutes, they'll have all the break they could ever hope for if things continue this way.
That's toxic.
I'm so sorry. The 6th number up there at the top of the screen biased me.
Yeah, it's a pretty good bias.
I think it's funny, though, given that we were talking about the stats being switched and this being such a Penta-favored match statistically.
Yep.
On this map.
It still ends up NORA-RENGO coming out with 6-1 so far.
It honestly feels like NORA-RENGO are, you talked about the mechanical skill at the beginning, because some of those executes on their attacks, pretty sloppy, pretty indecisive.
Yep.
It's just down to their mechanical skill winning a lot of the gunfights. There also might be a lot of communication we're missing out on, sometimes leading to just the right callouts. That confusion that we're seeing on some of those attacks might have been just them trying to figure out where those last players were and execute on it. But again, like you said, some of those times Raysil was left alone did speak to a little bit of confusion. Either way, though, I would love to see for these welcome mats, if we're going to get a finish this round, I would love to see the final kill cam be the snapping jaws of one of those welcome mats as the final player in Penta tries to clutch it out. But that's just me.
We will see if your wish is the world's command. As Blaz will start things off, and it's a Penta 3-man stack towards Trip Wall, currently on an office balcony rappel, as more drones will come out and try and assess the situation. And the location of NORA-RENGO defenders, and that's been an issue for a while, is understanding where NORA-RENGO are if you're Penta and where they want to go, because even they seem like they have no clue.
That's what's throwing everyone off. Oh what a start!
Mario.
Blaz already down. That's a huge early kill. Hungry as well. Already dropped down to near 0. Oh, he's actually down.
Down in a frost trap at Radio Desk. Sir Boss going to be inclined to vault in. Archives window. It'll get choked off by Toxic Babe, and Hungry will continue to bleed out. Trying to jump in and facilitate a revive will be enemy outside desk window, and Ravon will jump in with an asphyxiating bolt. They get Hungry back up, but another amazing shot from Mario. Immediately traded out by Hungry on 50 HP. Papilia prone with some bullet holes. He might catch someone off guard as they try to push through and claim fountain control. The drone will assess the situation as Papilia is spotted in the depths of Archives. Waka will retreat down metal stairs. It's a man disadvantage currently for Penta as they try and push on through this onslaught. No! Ramo shot down from below with the shotgun. Sir Boss an enemy. Last remaining hopes for Penta in the 2019 Invitational. Waka and Breakroom circling the water around Sir Boss and enemy as they continue to flounder upstairs inside of offices with no direction and no means of pushing through. 58 seconds will begin to tick away.
Well, Diffuser at least picked up some utility left in the sense of a skeleton key, but no flashbangs, no grenades, nothing to be thrown except for this match at this point if they cannot clutch this out. And good luck, because while Waka is on the Frost, that gun is very lethal and he is certainly great at the aiming portion of it, but still gonna get dropped down to dead. So, that being said, Sir Boss is gonna have to make up for all those mistakes on Coastline right about now.
One Canadian operator fells another on Canadian soil. An enemy will drop in as Sir Boss is felled, angling in. Oh, Raycel loses the gunfight, but it's a 1v2 with 13 seconds. Stuck on the rotation! Papilia sends Japan's representative, NORA-RENGO, the second APAC team, past the group stage for the first time in Siege history. We will have 2 APAC representatives in the final 8.
So after the success we saw for NORA-RENGO and Fnatic in Rio, they repeat that success. Regardless of how much farther they make it from here, I think it is time to stop with any underestimation of APAC, at least for those 2 teams, because they have both proven they have what it takes to be within the top teams of the world continuously. Fantastic play by them. And unfortunate for Penta, while I think they played a fantastic game, it just did not bring them all the way there. NORA-RENGO absolutely showing they deserve to be here because of how dominant that final map was for them, when statistically it favored Penta. Just, whew, such good play towards the end there. I gotta imagine Penta felt like they lost at the moment it was just down to enemy and Sir Boss. Unfortunate for them, but fortunate for us in being a very, very exciting and not long dragged out final map. And
very true.
I'm really looking forward to see how they play on the grand stage.
Yeah, the matchups will now begin to be speculated upon, as we now know our Elite 8, our final 8 teams for the 6th Invitational 2019. 8 eliminated through 3 days of constant, grueling play. Very close matches, very intense matches. But we now remain with 8 teams, one of whom will walk away with a lion's share of a $2 million prize.
Lion's quarantined. Is that what his share is? He's giving it up?
I hate you.
I hate me too.
Looking to round things down for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. That has been NORA-RENGO versus Penta. We have...
that's the end of groups.
That's the end of groups.
That's it.
Group stage taken care of.
Well, we know who's going to be playing now. It's just a question of who's going to make it all the way. I think it's going to be very interesting. Let's look at the actual bracket, though, to see how things got to where they are right now.
So, obviously, on the first day, FaZe took down NIP and sent them to the loser's bracket, and then Reciprocity dismantled NIP through 3 maps, one of which was a false start, but 2 strong ones after that. Then through yesterday's games, and then today, we found Fnatic and Team Reciprocity making it through Group A into the playoffs. Fnatic being the 1 seed and Reciprocity being the 2, and respectively for Empire and Space Station, they come out of Group B, and Space Station, very close game against Immortals today, but they walk away very narrowly victorious.
I got to imagine it is very good feeling for these loser bracket teams to make their way back out, but unlike the teams that won the entire time, they didn't get as many days off, but they are still going to be celebrating. They certainly, like I said, do not have their work done yet. They have to take that brief respite and immediately jump back. I suppose the players can party a little bit, but you're still going to be seeing the coaches working their butts off, because now they know what their opponents are ahead of them to an extent, but only so far. The fog of war extends as they go into quarters, not knowing who they'll face necessarily in semis, and then finals, if they can make it that far. But it should be interesting brackets, just the way the teams have shaped up, the way the groups have shaken down. And Group D, a bit of a surprise on the bottom, but not a huge surprise on the top. I think a lot of people expected Evil Geniuses to make it there, but sending NORA-RENGO down to the losers bracket with 2-0 certainly didn't keep them down in spirits. The screaming, I suppose, paying off. I expect we can hear more of the screaming during the actual stage matches.
Well, we now have for you the final bracket for playoffs. Quarterfinal number 1, Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, will be Fnatic versus NORA-RENGO, a battle of APAC teams. The pride of a whole region on their back, not unlike Team Liquid, who are the sole Latin American representative in the final bracket, going up against Team Empire. G2 will take on Space Station Gaming in the third quarterfinal, and Evil Geniuses and Team Reciprocity will meet in an all North American matchup for the quarterfinals on Friday, all day, casted by Emzo, myself, and Parker and Kickstar.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting because the semifinals guarantee only one APAC team goes through maximum, and it means we can't have a G2 EG final.
No.
So it is going to be very spicy and unpredictable where things go from here. And I gotta say, I can't wait for it to start. The day off might actually just be spent chewing my nails at this point. Not that I wouldn't be doing that anyway. What am I saying? Yeah, some replays though, to kind of remind you of the excitement that happened tonight.
It seemed like Penta just kind of ran out of gas at the end there against NORA-RENGO, and they got dismantled because of it. Just unable to kind of predict this very unpredictable playstyle that NORA-RENGO were bringing.
It's definitely unpredictable. I think that was a good way to describe it. Even the situations where we thought, it looked like they didn't necessarily know where they want to go from there, they still managed to win a good majority of those rounds. And despite some, I think, issues they need to show up in Oregon and Coastline, because those are the ones that went very back and forth, we know you're not going to want to take NORA-RENGO to border anytime soon unless you feel very confident in counter-striding what they did. But they seemed very confident in figuring out what Penta were doing and taking it apart for 7 rounds to that 1.
It was an incredible back-and-forth best-of-3 between Penta and NORA-RENGO, but the European squad will head home. It will not be a return for the organization of Penta to the playoffs. It will be a new birth for new teams. That's going to round it out for the group stage. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been 3 very long days with a lot of very long games, but we'd like to thank each and every one of you for catching up with us, staying with us, watching the VODs, going back and watching the VODs on both streams. If you haven't done so, you have a whole day tomorrow to catch up. 10 a.m. Eastern, Friday morning, we will be back with the playoffs with NORA-RENGO against Fnatic. Thank you very much, and good night.
See you then.